Okay, party people in the house, you're about to witness something you've never witnessed before.
Lil P on the track, boy.
What's the business? What's the business? What's the business? J Fly. Phone jumping off the chain like what's the business?
Got Napoleon complex, what's the business?
I'ma pull up with the yay like what's the business?
Getting hard in the yard, what's the business?
Eating lunch with the blood like what's the business?
I'm a booty warrior, that's the business.
AR double drum like what's the business? What's the business? What's the business?
What's the business?
What's the business? What's the business?
What's the business?
What's the business? What's the business? What's
Oh,
the
hey,
business?
hey.
What's the business? What's the business? What's the business? Catch me sliding to the trap like what's the business?
My mama gave me money for this video, that's the business.
Grinding trying to make a stack like what's the business? I'ma pull up on you like what's the business?
Doing football rap, that's the business.
She gon' give it to the kid like what's the business? 30 shots in the clip like what's the business?
I'm what evil looks like, that's the business.
You don't gotta choose it like what's the business? All my niggas on the job, what's the business? Tryna rob and you get dry, what's the business? You a walking stain, what's the business?
That goes to the credibility, that's the business.
I'ma hit your chest brain, what's the business? We be running through a block like what's the business?
I don't consent to being sentenced, that's the business.
100 shots for a out like what's the business? Gang,
Gang.
Phone jumping off the chain like what's the business?
On white rock throwing hands, that's the business.
I'ma pull up with the yay like what's the business?
Did you seek to testify, that's the business.
Eating lunch with the blood like what's the business? AR double drum like what's the business?
It's the plaintiff in the courtroom, that's the business.
What's the business? What's the business? What's the business?
What's the
What's the business? 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 Bro say he need them pounds. What's the business?
My children live with me, but I never met them, that's the business.
Hit my line when I'm in town like what's the business?
I'm standing in the government cheese line, that's the business.
Heard they claiming it's a drought like what's the business?
It's roaches in my cereal bowl, that's the business.
I'ma bring them round the mouth like what's the business?
Cut my kids umbilical cord, that's the business.
Killing overflow like what's the business? Killing for these hoes like what's the business?
I didn't know initialment first, that's the business.
Never leave without that pole like what's the business? Blowing Cali out the door, what's the business?
Gang, gang.
Stupid link on the cane, what's the business?
gaslit the entire courtroom. That's the business.
I'm a guy, Charlemagne, what's the business?
Throwing tantrums in the courtroom. That's the business.
Pouring money, that's my lane, what's the business?
I object to being called that name. That's the business.
Thumbing through a whole thing like what's the business? Phone jumping off the chain like what's the business?
Subject matter jurisdiction. That's the business.
I'ma pull up with the yay like what's the business? Eating lunch with the blood like what's the business?
With all due respect, Your Honor, that's the business.
Hey, y'all double drum like what's the business?
Can you prove that on the record? That's the business.
What's the business? What's the business? What's the business?
Hey,
What's the business? 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 What's the business?
that's the business. Hey, that's the business. With the red solo cup. Hey, that's the business. All right. Let me get my stuff up here. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, how's everybody doing today? Hold on, get my fan fixed. My husband stole my fan. How's everybody doing today? Welcome, welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. I hope everybody has had a good holiday weekend, 4-day weekend. I had intended on coming live this past weekend, but well, I've been intending to come live for a couple of weeks, but it's been ungodly hot, and my head is just not doing it. Let me say hey to everybody who has graced me with their presence today. Hey, Debbie Caruso, Debbie Arena, and Debbie. Oh, wait a minute. It's Debbie. There's another Debbie. There's another Debbie in here. I got 3 Debbies. Hey, Seamus, Kayla, Amos or Ames, I think. Tony, Ao, the Quiet Knitter. Welcome, welcome. Let me see. I said Tony already. Ao. Oh, the other Debbie C. Yeah, that's my 3rd Debbie. Debbie C. Yes, welcome, welcome everybody. Quiet Kill. Oh, I said Quiet Knitter. UMD. Welcome, welcome. Spawn 1701. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right, well, today we're going to get back to our use, and that is making fun of Darrell. And this stream, the theme of this stream is, hold on, I can't see. Darrell misunderstands the law. So let me get, and this is going to primarily feature day 10. And of course, I will give my commentary. Please make sure that you guys smash that like button. Whether you are here temporarily or you are here for the night, whether in or out, smash the like button. And please make sure you share. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. All right, let's get the party started. Our little shoe gremlin is upstairs, so he doesn't want to deal with Darrell Brooks, understandably. So he left me. I can play some music while we're getting they're coming. So I am going to hey Axel, welcome, welcome. Hey Spawn. I am going to do some more Master Bitch theater with what's her name? Boone. Because you know she wrote like 8 letters to the lawyers and to the judge, and haven't done them yet. But that will be coming shortly. Hold on. They take so long getting started. So let's focus on day 10. And this will be the ankle shock. Ankle shocks. My ankle shock devices. Ankle shocks. Hurry up. Take forever.
And Zach Wood shall appear on behalf of the state of Wisconsin.
Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
I'm here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client.
Oh, look who came to visit me. Come here, Munchkin. Oh, come here. Ooh, you're so heavy. Here goes my little co-host. He came downstairs for a minute. He came to check on me and let y'all see him up close. I know. Oh. Hey, everybody. I love you guys. Yay, I love you guys. Okay, Munchkin. Why are you smiling at me? You're not gonna bite my toes, are you? Move, Munchkin. Oh yeah, he wanna bite my toes. Move, Paisley. Oh, Munchkin. All right, let's do this here. I ain't got a lot of time. Foolish. Paisley! You know I don't have my fluffy socks? Stop. All right.
I accept the value and return to value all of the charges instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments, and for the record, I do not consent to being called that name.
Whatever. Oh, thank you, Carol. I appreciate you.
Known to this court as Darrell Brooks is present in person in custody. He is in street clothes, wearing a suit and tie and a mask.
I bet that suit
I don't
and tie
consent
is
to being called
tart.
that name, Your Honor,
I understand.
for the record.
For the
And
record.
I have advised you previously that I will continue to refer to you at times by that name, as I believe it's appropriate given the charging instruments in this case.
Now, she could have referred to him as bitch. That would have been more appropriate. Bitch boy.
And other evidence now that's been received during the course of this trial where I believe we are using the accurate name. With that, I don't
agree to that, Your Honor, or consent to that.
Who cares?
lack of consent is noted. So before we go forward, I need to put a couple of things.
Now, look, you see Judge Jenny. Now, remember, her hair was nice and straight and blown out earlier in the earlier during the trial. So now you see her, and you know her hair is, you know, it's like she just got out of bed, and she was just like, oh God, I gotta deal with this clown today. Like the coffee hadn't kicked in yet. And you know, I know about the coffee not kicking in because I have to struggle to get out the bed sometimes because the coffee has not kicked in. Hold on. Now he wants to go outside and potty. Let me message my husband and tell him to come get him. Crazy. All right, let's go.
On the record, I know Mr. Brooks has filed some things, but before I get to that, as I told the parties on
I
Monday,
hope so,
I had
Tony.
excused one of the jurors for a
Hey, Toby.
health reason, and it has come to my attention that I now have a second juror
Thank you.
with the same health concern.
I love
Out of
you.
an abundance of caution, I am going to bring the jurors out to question them about their whether any of them have any concern about continuing to serve.
Hey, please let me know, Tony, if because if you go to jury duty and it's that one, I need you to come as soon as you're off jury duty and come talk to me, because I want to know everything that happened. Everything that happened. If you got jury duty with him. Oh, please. Don't go nowhere else first. Come here first.
On this jury, given the health concern, I am referring to
Hold on.
out of an abundance of caution.
Yeah, this is jury.
In the jury room. I'd also like to put on the record that, thank you, juror number 27.
All right, I'm skipping ahead. I don't care about this.
Thank you, juror number
That's
30.
what I said. When the case is over.
Juror number 1.
I know they
Thank
can't
you.
talk about it
And then which
until it's
number?
over.
6. Juror
That'll
number
cause a
6.
mistrial.
Thank you. And then juror number 14. I'll just start there. Thank you. Juror number 10. Thank you. Juror number 51. Thank you. Juror number 45. Thank you. Juror number 19.
Going up there.
Thank you. Juror number 41. Thank you. And juror number 3. All right. Is there anything I haven't asked of the jurors or any other jury trials we've done?
All right, there we go. I don't care nothing about that. He wants to be with you. Look at him. His eyes are like dead. Hey, what's your Karen Wood? I know, Al, the stare is just like, it's weird. It's creepy creeperton weird. He is a creepy creeperton.
Thank you. Be seated. Go ahead.
Ugly self.
We counted 15 jurors in the courtroom.
I excused one.
You excused one earlier in the week too, though.
No. I'm only talking about the one. The other one I didn't excuse.
I see. Okay.
And thank you. I'll make a record of that. I did not excuse given when that person reported their symptoms.
What's her name said?
And where we're at today.
What's her name? Lord. J. Judy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She said those are shark eyes.
Make a further record that none of the jurors are wearing masks.
And look, they're all color coordinated.
I'm not going to mandate. I believe it's a personal choice. And that would also be consistent with, I believe, our county policies as well.
Off of the chopper.
So, or anything related to that, I have a couple of other issues I need to address this morning.
The person that's, or the two people rather, that are having the COVID concerns. I know you said you wasn't.
Imagine waking up and seeing that in the bed next to you. Who wants to wake up to this? Or he walks up to you, you know, like men do, you know, you're out somewhere and they want to ask you for your phone number. How would you want this face, these eyes looking back at you? That's scary.
I'm gonna ask them had they test positive.
Look at his nails.
Results of any.
Listen, I cannot deal with his nails, y'all. Yes, the nasty looking nails.
Testing.
Little troll.
Do you know if there has been exposure on their end to COVID exactly, or is that just a caution thing?
My understanding is that I've had 2 jurors test positive.
Now, this whole jury test positive with COVID thing, you can see in the wrinkles in his forehead that this is supposed to be a situation where if we dismiss some juries, we don't have enough juries. So, you know, we can find a way to postpone and there be some other stuff. Hey, Mike said, yeah, we can do some other stuff. So these are his Hail Marys. He has a lot of Hail Marys
Throughout the course of this trial.
God, he's ugly.
And
I make a further record that they're the only ones within 6 feet of each other, right? They, and perhaps our civilian bailiffs, they've not been in obviously contact with anyone in the gallery. I don't know if maybe Attorney Opera might be within 6 feet.
I'm sure
I think
it's
so, but I haven't measured it.
like this.
Obviously, you're not within 6 feet of any of them. But that's a good question to ask, and I'm glad you asked that. And I wanted to make a record of that as well.
yeah, that would be my question to it.
Y'all can hear well, okay? Right?
I guess in reference to me myself just having the same concern a few weeks ago.
Bitch, you did not have no same concern a few weeks ago. You were playing games because you wasn't sick. You didn't have no freaking COVID. And here's the thing that I neglected to mention when he was doing his COVID ploy. Hey, Bright, when he was doing his COVID ploy, he said that he was feeling sick over the weekend, but he made it known on the night before. So that was a Thursday. And he made it known on Wednesday. So that was a lie. Because like I said, if it don't make sense, it ain't true, right? So he said, I was feeling sick. He gave me this long story, a bunch of exposition. Nobody asked for it. That's another indication of lie. And said, I put in a sick call slip yesterday. That's when I stopped having taste yesterday, the day before. Okay, volume is good. Okay, great.
So that would be the reason why I would want to know exactly any details that could be provided.
What you want to know? The
I'll
health record?
provide all the details that I will. Again, for the record, you have not been exposed, from my opinion, because of the distance that you are away from them, and my understanding based upon my review of
I'm no
county
AO.
policy.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I'm not saying me myself have been
Understood.
exposed.
So look, this Bible, WCJ, that's Waukesha County Jail. So do you think that the jail loaned him a Bible, like from the library? That's the Bible from the library, or is that a Bible that he acquired and that ended up being in his property? What do y'all think? I think that that's a Bible that he borrowed from the library, the jail library. And I'm pronouncing it library because that's how he pronounces library. Library is library. Lies. You know about lies.
Well, that's why I asked them though too, right? I wanted to make sure they had no concerns, or if they had a concern, to see if I could accommodate it in any way. I'm satisfied that if they don't have a concern, that we can continue forward.
Have they ever, the entirety of the jury though, have they been exposed in any way?
If somebody on the jury had COVID and they had to leave, and they've been sitting listening to your dumb ass, yes, they've been exposed to COVID. This is the guy who asked a expert witness, one of the police officers, about Newton's law. What is Newton's law? Newton's law. He definitely got the wrong edition. All of this is wrong.
I don't know the specifics because of the 6 foot rule, and no one has asked me to investigate that further.
Wouldn't it be smart though to see?
Well, you don't know about smart though.
I don't believe that's necessary under the circumstances.
Well, if anything, just for future reference, like what if it plays a part later on?
Well, I'll certainly take
Then
your
it'll play a
concerns
part later
under
on.
advisement, and if I believe any further questioning needs to be done, I'll do that. At this point, I don't believe it needs to be done, but I'll think about that and I'll take it under advisement. And if I change my mind, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because
Hey, Kathy.
if anything, it probably would be smart.
Again, you don't know
to make
smart.
sure no one else was compromised, considering that.
Let me make a record there. No one has indicated they are compromised. I don't think we can make assumptions about how anyone who's been exposed or tested is feeling. You can be asymptomatic and test positive. You can have mild symptoms. I trust my jurors that they would report if they're not able to sit through the proceedings. And I will further advise them through the bailiffs that they are to report if they ever get to a point where they feel they're not able to sit through here, and if so that we're advised, and I can tell the parties.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, because it was from
Anything for this clown to stall. Anything, or as he would say, anything. In the letter N, T, the letter T, NT thing.
Monday, which at that time it wasn't. Could have been flu.
Could have been.
Just not feeling well. Could have been anything. And
Right.
then today is
What?
then you kind of worry about tomorrow, Friday, over the weekend.
Bitch, we could drop dead tonight. Tonight. But I think that whomever dropped dead that was on your jury would have found a way to resurrect to make sure they could put you in jail for life. I'm sorry, for 1,300 years. Not life, 1,300 years.
Mr. Brooks, I share all of those concerns, but my other concern is that we are in the third week of trial and that we should keep going until the conclusion of
Make sure I
this
push that like
matter,
button.
understanding what has happened.
All right. I just wanted to put that on the record because
I appreciate that.
it seemed like the circumstances were different when it was me.
Because you were lying. That's why the circumstances were different. And you're a killer. And you're an ass. And that's why it was different. These people are good white folks who have come to listen to your foolishness and not bust out laughing at your idiocy. And, you know, that's the difference. These are good, law-abiding citizens who hadn't ran over 6 people in a raggedy Ford Escape with no gas. That's why he couldn't go nowhere, because he didn't have no gas. How the hell you don't have no gas? How are you going to make a run for it with no gas in your car?
Just saying.
Who cares?
Are you
Hey,
making
buddy.
any specific requests given this information?
Hey, Clem
Well,
Bingo.
I believe that
Hey, Belle.
the jury clearly all congregate together.
Yeah.
I think it would be smart to make sure everybody is tested. I mean, that's it would be smart to do that.
So you're going to have her mandate testing for people who are allegedly free. You know, the freedom now is debatable, depending on what state you live in. But she's going to mandate. This is a conservative. She's a MAGA Republican. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, that ain't going to happen with this one. Not this one.
I'm not going to mandate testing for the jurors. That much I can tell you.
There you go. Told you.
So that request is denied.
And the grounds for the denial?
I'm not going to mandate that the jurors be subjected to testing. They're the ones who indicated they are comfortable being here. They
Didn't she say it's a personal choice just a few minutes ago? I could have sworn.
don't have concerns. And again, I would trust them to report to me if anything changes.
Hey, Cindy.
I would trust that too, but it still will refer back to Monday when the first knowledge of someone having an illness or a potential illness was
She's
those
very
same questions that
conservative,
were
yes.
asked today, asked Monday. And
I did
I'm
not.
quite sure.
I certainly questioned them much more. It was a very brief. I put what I said to them on the record.
Look, she's not a George Bush conservative. You know, she's not a Dick Cheney conservative. She's a Uber Tommy Tuberville Looney Bird. She may as well be come to Alabama, come to Florida, come to Florida, come to Alabama. She'd be right at home.
Earlier, it was certainly not what we did here today, and the record reflects that.
Right. I'm quite sure though that all the jurors Monday said they didn't have any concerns as well.
Okay.
And then now today, someone else.
Okay.
Same thing being said. So
I understand what you're
if it
saying.
happens again, same thing being said.
But are you making any specific requests as it relates to this topic and this issue?
Well, you denied the request that
Any other requests?
I just feel like it's smart for them to be tested.
We got it. Smart
So
to
it
be
doesn't
tested.
come up again in the future, or potentially come up again in the future.
How would it not potentially come up again in the future? Especially with COVID was going around. You had a bunch of people who wasn't wearing masks, people who were not getting vaccinated. Again, personal choice, you know, you do you. But it's no different than, you know, cold and flu season. You be around somebody coughing and sneezing, they don't cover their mouth. Or with me, I don't do children because children are they're the incubi of viral plague. If a baby, a newborn cute baby, has so much as the sniffles, I'm getting walking pneumonia. So yeah, I'm just saying that this logic, the math ain't math and the logic ain't there. You can get sick from just the smallest thing, the smallest thing. And I am proof positive of that. I have no immune system, period.
Because then we'll all be looking back and saying, well, we could have prevented something like this from happening if we had just nipped it in the bud from the get-go. It's just smart to, like you say, err on the side of caution.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna continue. I
I
understand.
feel like, look, fool. I'm glad that you were saying this, but you're wasting my time. You're wasting my time. I'm going to reclaim my time, and we're going to go so we can get you put in prison in the deepest, darkest hole. Hey, Sadie, welcome, welcome. You know what, Tony, you're terrible. Yes, he was tooted and booted. That's why he had a loss of taste. He was tooted and booted in the cell. Yes, all your babies were little walking. I'm telling you, man, that babies carry powerful germs. Powerful. I mean, they could be a weapon of mass destruction. Just send a bunch of babies places, and they'll wipe out the whole civilization.
Understand what you're saying, but given the responses of the jurors, I'm going to continue. I'm going to base this off of their desire to continue, at least what I would interpret as their desire.
They want to get you. They want to get you
on this case.
They want to get your ass.
All right, then I want to talk briefly about the jury view.
Okay, here we go.
I did provide the parties with a proposed instruction. Before I get to that, though, Mr. Brooks, I have been thinking about your request yesterday. And I know I indicated to you that I would require you to be there. I've rethought that.
Here we
go,
y'all.
To really think about it. And if that is your decision to not be present for that, what I would say is this. I want you to be advised that you have a right to be at that jury view. Did you hear me say that?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much told me yesterday about, everything that was going on. I didn't agree to or consent to it being, well, I was still confused about why did there even need to be a jury view.
So, number one, the judge has acquiesced to your request and said, hey, I told you yesterday that I want you at the jury view. She thought about it and said, you know what? If I'm not going to force you to go, you have the right to go. But if you don't want to go, you don't have to go. Why are we having a discussion about something that you requested and was granted? Hey, Wanda Joy, I don't understand. Ooh, your 3 grandchildren have chicken pox? Oh, Lord. I remember my chicken pox from back when I was a kid. I was so thankful I never got chicken pox. And then one day, all hell broke loose.
That was my whole thing. I don't see the relevancy of it.
You really don't see the relevancy of the jury view. You really don't see the relevancy of why they would want to go and look at the vehicle as you left it, the vehicle that you used to murder 6 people and injure 80, 90, 100 people. The jury don't need to see that. You don't see the relevancy of that.
And I also didn't agree with or consent to having to be part of something that I don't see as relevant.
I appreciate you making a record of that. But did you hear what I said? That you have a right to be present for it. I've ruled that let me back up. There's been a request from the state to have the jury look at the vehicle.
Why did he cover his mouth to cough when he got a mask on? That's one of the beauties of wearing your mask, is you can cough and do whatever. And
said that you have a right to be present for it. I've ruled that let me back up. There's been a
Back that
request
ass
from
up.
the state to have the jury look at the vehicle that was recovered by the police, and of course is alleged to be the vehicle that was driven through the parade. Did you hear me advise you of that?
Yes, I heard.
All right, so that motion was addressed previously, and I granted the request for that jury view. Did you hear me say that?
I'm informed.
Oh, now we playing the word game. We playing the word game. I'm informed.
All right, thank you. So with that, you have a right to be present at that jury view. Did you hear me say that?
I'm informed.
And I would like you to be there. I believe it is a piece of evidence. That's why I've drafted jury instruction 152 the way that I did. Did you hear me say that?
I'm informed.
So my question to you then this morning is, do you want to be present at the jury view of the vehicle?
That should require a yes or no response. It should be yes or no, yes or no. Do y'all think we're going to get a yes or no? Huh? Let's see.
I don't see the reason why I would need to be present.
Well, that's my question to you.
Well, see, you're representing yourself. So you should want to be present. You're your own attorney. You know, you got your Fisher-Price first trial kit going on, and you're your own attorney. So you should be present at the jury view. I mean, we know you hadn't gone through the boxes, so, you know, seeing the vehicle, seeing the vehicle up close, you know, maybe that'll help you. Because apparently the video's not working. You still don't know about injured parties and all that stuff. So maybe you need to see the vehicle. Or maybe he's embarrassed that all of his clothes and stuff are in the vehicle. Maybe that's what it is. Because I wouldn't want anybody to come into my house. And so the vehicle was his house. So that's disrespectful that we are intruding on his house. See, I got it. No, the jury's not in the room yet.
Though, is do you want to be present for it? You are the accused in this case. You're the person who the state has alleged committed these acts. It's the jury view will be to view a piece of evidence that frankly can't come into the courtroom due to its size. And the jury's going to be shown that. So do you want to be present at that?
For the record, I'm not a person. I'm a human being.
Huh? He's not a person. He's a human being. Wouldn't a human being be a person? I don't think he was doing the whole pronouns thing. He wasn't doing the they, them. So, like, I'm confused. He wasn't doing the they, them. So, in the person, human being, that's like somebody has said that, you know what? I don't even remember, but they had made a statement about primates, dumb primates or whatever. Or, you know, I'm glad that we don't deal with primates or something stupid. And we're like, so a primate is looking down on another primate. We have failed. We have failed a lot. Hey, Vicky. He's not a Homo sapien. He's that group before Homo sapiens. I don't even think he's Homo erectus. He's a different. He's several rungs down the evolutionary ladder. He's not one of us. He's not one of us in the 2023 human being department. He's not.
And no, I do not consent to or agree to being present at a jury view.
Okay.
All right, then I'm going to honor his request. But what I am going to do, though, is as part of that process in any event, because it's being done in a secure location, is I have ordered that I want to make a record of what's being done.
Blah, 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 blah.
Visual record of what is being done. And so this jury view is going to take place in the Sally Port of the jail. and precautions are being taken so that the jurors do not know where it's at. It'll look like a garage, right? Anything that says jail within the Sally Port is being covered up. That will be verified before anyone is taken in there. They will be transported to there. I'm not sure if they'll walk or drive because it's very close. But then
Oh man,
the sheriff's department, because
that's
it's
messed up.
as the court official, I'm in charge of keeping the record, not keeping the record. I'm in charge of making the record. It's the better way to say it. And I want to make sure that there's a record of what is done for this trial and certainly for any appellate purposes if need be. The sheriff's department, the sheriff's department is obviously charged with.
She coughing because she smells them. She smells his aroma. You know, some men have an aroma. Oh, speaking of aromas, I was having lunch with my friend today, and some guy came in. Clearly, he had just came from the gym. When I tell you, he hit all of that, the fucking tails and wagnalls came in and hit me so hard in the face, my eyes started watering. So we moved to another seat because I have a very sensitive sense of smell. I get migraines. And when he finished eating, he left. And so we were by the door. And it was eye-watering, nasty. And I'm like, why in the hell would you come from the gym and eat in a sit-down place? You should have bought that. You should have taken that to go or door dashed it or something. Anyway,
Security
that's what we're doing.
and safety of a courtroom, including the jurors. And so I have asked the sheriff's department to record. And so there is a camera with that will be on a tripod that will record what's there before anyone gets there. I've instructed them to take that camera to walk around the vehicle.
Hey, Ashley Lynn.
And while it's recording, to put it back on the tripod.
Now make sure y'all smashing the like button.
Before the jurors and the court are brought in. Once we are brought in, it will also be recorded, and that contemporaneous recording. So that will be as we will walk around the vehicle one time. That will be recorded, and then both of those recordings are going to be made part of the record. Inclusion from public or be and bring it back, and then
Here we go. I want to hear all that.
If I have a right to be present,
Here we go.
then I have a right to not be present. How can this take place if I don't agree or consent to being present? How can it even still take place without?
What? So if he does not consent to the jury view in Darrell world, if he doesn't consent to jury view, even though that's the murder weapon that has been seized by the police, if he doesn't consent to it, then they can't look at it. Now remember, he don't consent to nothing except for, beating hoes. Outside of that and pretending to be a gangster. So, but he doesn't consent to anything. So by your logic, since you don't consent to being sentenced, you don't consent to your name, you don't consent to A, B, C, and D. If that logic applied, if the proceedings were still going forward, why would you think that in this situation and no other, that you would be able to get the court to say, you know what, it's not really necessary. I don't have to do anything. Please tell me.
it will take place, sir. I'm just going to honor your request not to be there.
I'm asking the question though. How can it take place without my consent or agreement?
If you don't, it's going to take place. That's how I'm going to answer that, sir. So you not going there is not going to prevent it from happening.
There you go.
But you can forfeit your right to be there by your conduct. And by your conduct, by not answering my question, by saying I don't want to be there and I don't consent to it, you will be forfeiting your right to be present and essentially waiving that.
Doesn't I have to sign something for it to be waived?
I don't think so in this case.
Well, yesterday you said something about
We talking
I know I
about
said that,
today.
and I've
Yeah.
had some time to think about that further. I don't believe I need to take a full waiver with you signing anything or even agreeing to the waiver.
So why did I have to do that for when my
I'm not going to answer those questions because that
Well,
would be for me to give you an explanation of the law.
You had to do that and do a colloquy because you wanted to fire your attorneys and represent yourself. So she had to go through to make sure that you understood what that entailed and that you understood the risk that you would take, that you would understand the penalties you faced, you would understand the charges that were being charged against you. And she wanted to make sure that you intellectually, cognitively understood. And we already know that he didn't understand.
no,
I'm just going to tell you that I'm not going to require a written waiver from you in order to honor your request to not be at the, or even if I phrase it, your lack of consent to the jury.
No one cares
Is that
about your lack of
lawful law?
consent.
Because
Sir, I'm not
The
going to
way-
go through all the law that applies to that.
way
This is
I-
my ruling. If you disagree with it and ultimately there is a conviction, you can raise that on appeal. But
no,
your
Yes.
lack of consent is not going to stop the jury view.
No
It's
one
going
cares.
to happen. It's a piece of evidence that I cannot physically fit in this courtroom. It's too big. There's no way to get it in.
okay, I'm in.
Bruh, you are a career criminal. You know how trials go. You know that if there's evidence, like the murder weapon or the gun that you used to do a drive-by shooting on your nephew, or the gun you pulled out on your mother, you should know that they do this. I mean, you have, I don't know how many cases going back to the 90s. You should know this. Make sure y'all smashing that like button.
Informed of that, but at the same time, if I haven't signed any waiver, how could it be lawful? I haven't given consent or agreement to a jury view. I haven't waived any right. When the whole issue was brought up on the record yesterday, my first thing that I said was, I don't see the relevancy of why there should even be a jury view.
Because you're stupid.
And that was the whole issue. And yesterday I was told about I don't know how you say it, the however you say it.
Yeah,
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, because you're dumb.
I know
Which
what
was-
I said, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had time to reflect. That was my initial reaction to your statement yesterday, but I've thought about it some more and I'm changing my mind. I don't believe I need to take a full waiver with a colloquy with you and anything in writing. I'm advising you, you have the absolute right to be there. But I'm also advising you that if you choose not to be there, I will honor that request.
Like, why is this even a question? Why are we having this conversation?
And I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to direct the sheriff's department to, use any type of force. If you
No, Mike, he's saying lawful law, like the one word lawful law. That's what he always says, like an idiot.
Will or require you or get you there without your consent. You either cooperate with that process or you don't.
The way I interpret the law, though, Your Honor, which the law is
I'm so with you,
designed
Carol. I hate conversate.
to be interpreted by the people. The way I interpret that is I have the right, or essentially to be there or not to be there, and it still has to be an agreement or consent.
I don't understand what is the controversy. What's confusing? You just said you have a right to be there or not to be there. That's you consenting to be there or not to be there. What is the problem?
That's how I interpret the law.
You're an
My
idiot.
ruling on that, sir, is I disagree with you. You do not need to provide consent for the jury view to happen. Your objection is noted for the record. I'll make a specific finding today that it is relevant to these proceedings, to this trial. There is an allegation that you drove through the Waukesha Christmas Parade
On
on
camera.
November 21 of
You're on camera.
2021, driving a red Ford Escape, killing 6 and injuring dozens more.
With no gas.
The relevance is that there is, in addition to the charges, there's an enhancer that has been charged as it relates to the intentional homicide charges and the first degree recklessly endangering safety, that you committed those acts while using a dangerous weapon. I would
Judge Jenny, you are confusing him. He does not know nothing that you're talking about. Nothing. You just need to just break it down simply. You kill 6, and you kill 6 and you injured, 80 because you ran them over. The end.
would direct your attention to the meaning of a dangerous weapon, that the legal definition that was provided to the jurors in the preliminary jury instructions, and that the jury view is related to the evidence that the state is presenting regarding the charges, and specifically the instrumentality that they allege is the dangerous weapon. So there's clear relevance of this vehicle
The way he interprets the law is the jury can nullify the law. That's the way he interprets it.
as evidentiary value. Again, your objection is noted for the record, but I will and am permitting the jury view of the vehicle. With that, I'm going to move on to the jury instruction.
I don't agree or consent to that, Your Honor.
I understand your
No one
objection is well
cares.
noted for the record. I need to keep going though on the pattern and
I'm
jury.
informed that you need to keep going. I'm not trying to stop you from continuing to go.
He is such an
I'm
asshole.
merely stating for the record that there are things I do not understand how they're being permitted versus the Constitution. I mean, I'm sure you're aware under Article 6, Chapter 2 about the Supremacy Clause, that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So how can we disregard?
Mr. Brooks, I'm not disregarding the Constitution. Here's the thing.
He's such an idiot. Okay, for those who don't know, Supremacy Clause says that, for instance, perfect example, Roe v. Wade. We had a federal law that protected abortion rights for women, and that superseded any of the state laws that wanted to ban it. So then when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and all of these states, all these retarded red states decided, and I'm in a retarded red state, I'm probably in the most retarded red state, which is Alabama. All of them ran and started writing laws, and we have all these conflicting laws from state to state, from state to state. The reason why the Supremacy Clause is there is to have my mind is just like dead. To be consistent, to have everything consistent. So then when they overturned Roe v. Wade, it made things and put everything back in the power of the states. It made everything crazy and weird. So that's what the Supremacy Clause is. But people didn't want to integrate schools back in the day. Brown v. Board came for us to have integration. And so when you had state laws that were doing, Jim Crow and segregation and all of this other stuff, redlining, well, not redlining, that's something else. But, all that stuff, Brown v. Board said you can't do that. We all need to go to school together. Blacks need to come and integrate into the school so we can have, everybody together, because it's separate but equal is some bullshit. So that's the Supremacy Clause. You have a federal law that will override what the states do. All right.
I've made my ruling, okay? Once I've made a ruling, I do expect that even if you disagree with it, you will not continue to argue it, we will continue on with the next topic.
I'm seeking to understand, Your Honor. It's not an argument.
Mr. Brooks, I'm not going.
See, he doesn't understand about the criminal justice system, and court is an adversarial system. So when they speak to one another You know, you're on your defendant, you have prosecution. They make oral arguments. It doesn't mean that we're having an argument. We're not having a fight. We're not on a reality show fighting. We're giving a legal argument based on legal precedents and case law and codified law. That's what an argument is, idiot.
Going to explain further, other than what I have done, my ruling. My ruling stands. Now I'm going to move on to the jury instruction. I gave the parties
May I
2
respectfully
documents.
reject that ruling and take exception to that
So
ruling?
freaking rude.
Your objection is noted. I'm
For the
moving
record,
on
may
to
I
jury.
request a legal and factual basis for your
Mr.
ruling,
Brooks,
Your
please
Honor?
don't interrupt me, okay? I give you an opportunity to raise your objections and to make your legal
I'm
arguments.
raising
And then I make a
objection now.
ruling, and then you start in on something else. You need to give me your argument all at once. For you to interrupt me afterward is disruptive to me.
It's not
And
disruptive.
it's interrupting
Hey,
and it's
Iggy,
disruptive.
It is
welcome.
definitely not
Well,
disruptive.
if that's my view of things, sir, and what I'm putting on the record is that it does disrupt what I'm doing and the flow of what I'm doing and needing to move on, having to interrupt what I'm doing so that I can address that once again. Please, please. I know you may not always agree with my rulings, but I'd ask that you show the courtesy and decorum that is expected of everyone. And once I make a ruling, we're going to move on. You don't need to keep objecting because your objection's already been noted for the record. I'm going to continue. We're going to look at jury instruction 152. I gave the parties.
Bless this woman. Bless this woman. She is a saint. Bless her. Y'all make sure y'all smash my like button. I got 74 viewers and 44 likes. Please hit my like. Y'all got to help me in the algorithms. You got to hit me with the algorithms. Hit that like button.
2 documents yesterday. One was the pattern instruction.
And he's still running his mouth.
Which I've modified, and then one is the draft of, and I'm, Mr. Brooks, please stop. You're continuing to talk.
Shut your dick suckers
over me.
Because
you're interrupting.
You said I have the right to object, and you didn't let me even get to the objection.
I did, sir.
No, you
Okay?
didn't. I was right
your
in the middle of
objection
it.
comes before the ruling, not after. Once I make a ruling, we're moving on.
You made a ruling before we even finished the conversation, Your Honor. With all due respect,
Brooks,
before we even finished.
That's not true. Okay?
You said I'm going to make a ruling,
and she made one.
As soon as you even started in about
Mr. Brooks, I'm not going to spend hours on end making a ruling about a jury view on something I've already decided. All right. So please, I'm asking you to stop.
I'm not going to
interrupting me.
You can't just disregard the United States Constitution.
I absolutely am not disregarding the United States Constitution or the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin.
Are you not a public servant?
Okay, Mr. Brooks, you're starting to cross the line. You've already crossed it, but I want to keep going. I want you in this courtroom. But if you keep interrupting me and putting you on notice that
his nails are so disrespectful,
you run the risk of being forfeiting your right to be present in this court.
Look at his facial expression. He just like, say what, bitch? Say what, bitch? His look on his face. You're not telling me shit, bitch.
And continuing in the next courtroom so that I can effectively and without interruption continue with the proceedings.
So again, you're holding me in contempt.
All right. Jury instruction 152. Has the state had an opportunity to review it?
Is that a judicial determination that I'm being held in contempt?
And I agree generally with the court's proposed instruction. I did submit kind of a counter proposed instruction following much of the language that you had.
They got my boy right here. That's who is his mama? It wasn't Virginia Sorensen, was it? Is that him? I think that's him. The one that I think so. I don't know. Zach? Not this Zach. I'm talking about dude right here in the back. Next up behind the paralegal dude right here in the gray. I know who Zach is, okay? I know my baby Zach. looking nice and dapper with his suit on and his blueberry tie. I know my Zach now.
And in your
Leanna
version, Your
Owens,
Honor,
thank you.
I just think it's maybe better to refer to this area as a garage instead of a sally port. I don't know that anybody knows what a sally port is unless they work in this industry. And instead of referring it as being in the Waukesha County Jail, I just suggested a garage attached to the Waukesha County Courthouse. I think that is factually accurate and would dispel any concerns about anybody being in custody or reference to a jail setting. I did email my proposed instruction to your clerk and I e-filed it, but I admittedly just did that a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that's why I emailed it to the clerk because it's probably not in your queue yet.
That's my other cutie right here. I don't know his name. Yeah, that's Opera's muscle right here. The other cutie. And you always see he is always positioned right in Darrell's field of view. Hey, B Blanco. Like he ready for Darrell to make a move and gonna get him. And I really wish there was some police brutality here. I really wish in this particular case there was some police brutality. I'm sorry to say that, but I do. I wish that somebody had cracked him upside the head several times and, shot him in the back to paralyze him and then planted a knife on him. And the officer said, I'm scared for my life. I wish that they could have did that. Detective, that's his name, Detective Ragland. Okay. Awesome. I still want to, he's my Jason Statham with hair.
All right, why don't we print that off so that Mr. Brooks can review that as well.
Since being called that name, what do I need to be reviewing?
Shut up.
The state has submitted an alternate proposal for instruction 152.
And that's referring to this quote unquote jury view?
Yes.
And you're too lazy to read it. That's the killing part. You have nothing to do.
Thank you.
I accept for value in return for value this document.
Idiot.
No, like the record to reflect, I still haven't received my original copies of my filings here this morning.
Who gives a flying damn about the original copies of your stupid inmate communications form? We're talking about the jury view and how they're trying to shield your goofy ass and not have the jury know that they're in the jail. They're trying to help you, make you look better. Pace is upstairs. He don't want to deal with
the timestamp.
With Darrell. He has like he has somewhere to go or something to do.
Let me know when you've had an opportunity to review it if you so choose.
I just stated for the record, I accept for value in return for value the document.
Bitch, read
Do
it.
you have any position on the state's proposal?
I'm still trying to understand the whole process.
How to So you don't understand the process, but they gave you a piece of paper to explain the process to you, and you refuse to read it.
Mr. Brooks, my question to you is, do you have any position on the state's proposed jury instruction? Otherwise, I'm going to rule on their request.
You're going to rule on the request anyway. I got a lot of questions that don't get answered.
I have to rule on the request, sir. It's been a proposal filed with the court.
You haven't ruled on subject matter jurisdiction yet.
Yes, I have.
No, you
In
haven't.
any event, do you have a position on the jury view, sir?
Yeah, what about subject matter jurisdiction?
One last time, Mr. Brooks, do you have a position on
Can
the
I
state's
go over the
proposed-
document, please? Can I do that, Your Honor?
Really? Really, Ho? That's what we do? Yes, Sadie. And she has said that numerous times. You know, if you don't understand and you need things explained to you, then you need to seek the advice of an attorney. She told him at the colloquy when he waived his right to an attorney, hey, I cannot, the prosecution cannot, none of us can explain the law to you. Now, you've been playing games with this woman. Tell me some subject matter jurisdiction. You've been subject matter jurisdiction. And then you want to get an attitude like you're 5 years old.
On the jury view, sir.
Yeah, what about subject matter jurisdiction?
One last time, Mr. Brooks, you have a position on
Can
the
I
state's
go over the
proposed-
document, please? Can I do that, Your Honor? Respectfully,
sorry?
for the record, may I do that?
Yeah, do that. Do that. Look at him. He reading it. Look at the head. Back and forth. Back and forth.
You seem like the same thing that was there yesterday.
It's not. There are some changes.
What changes?
Reference
It's
to
the same. It's the same document.
So that means that he did not read the original document to know that there was a change. What does he be doing at night in his cell? What does he do? Why don't you read any of these documents and any of these exhibits? I don't understand. Like, what do you have to do? You're by yourself in a cell. You're on trial. Read this shit. Read it.
That was
Reference
accepted
to
for value,
the-
returned for value yesterday. The same document.
It's not the same. The changes were put on the record verbally by the state. It's taking out reference to Sallyport of the Waukesha County Jail, referring to it simply as a garage attached to the Waukesha County Courthouse.
He plays butt ball. That's what he's doing.
Those would be in the first two
Butt
paragraphs.
ball with the booty warrior.
I believe the rest is the same.
So it was a couple words changed.
A couple words means a lot.
That's my understanding.
So it's the same document.
Oh, hey, Munchkin.
Let me know when you're finished.
Here's somebody who wanted to see Paisley. Come back. Come here, Munchkin. Wait. I'm not going to rub your tummy. Come here. Get off. Come here. Oh, Lord. For those of y'all who missed Paisley earlier. Hey, everybody. I'm just doing my security check around the house and making sure that mommy's okay. Hi, everybody. There you go, Munchkin. All right.
Finish reviewing it and
I don't have to review the same document that was reviewed yesterday, accepted the value and return for value yesterday.
So if the document words have been changed, that means it's different. And that means the document is not the same. If you have one word change, that means the document isn't the same. Oh, I think what AO said that he dropped out in 9th grade, or he dropped out in 9th grade, did you say? Tell me that again. Because it's clear, like something.
All right, then let me ask you this, sir. Do you have a position on the proposed instruction from the state?
It's essentially the same document. What was the significance of the change?
I just told you.
What's the significance? Garage, Sallyport. What is the relevancy of what it's called?
He's so freaking
State want to
stupid.
put on the record again the basis for the changes you made.
Okay, he dropped out of 9th grade, and then didn't he supposed to go to got his GED or his HSCD? Is that fair to say? Is that fair to say? Oh, okay. That he tried to get Social Security disability, and he said that he dropped out of. But But for him to ask about Newton's theory, I thought we learned that before 9th grade. Like, he asked a whole bunch of stupid questions that he should know the answer to. He should have basic knowledge of stuff, and I'm seeing that it's not there.
Your Honor, to my way of thinking, it is beneficial to the defendant. It removes any reference to a Sally Port, which some may recognize as being part of the Waukesha County Jail. It removes reference to the jail itself. And then in the second sentence, the pattern instruction was worded and the court followed it. You will be taken to the Sally Port in the custody of the jury bailiffs. I just thought it was better to change that. You will be taken to the garage by the jury bailiffs. Again, removing the use of the word custody is it's factually true, but it's really irrelevant. And just to be cautious, Your Honor.
With that, sir, do you have any?
Little spoiled brat.
I don't fundamentally understand that.
Because you're an idiot. Ain't that right, much?
I think everyone's well aware that I'm in custody. So how does the wording change what's already known? Everybody knows that I'm housed in the Waukesha County Jail. How does the wording change what's already known? It's reported on every single day, as it has been since the beginning of trial and even before that. So I don't think anyone's not privy to the knowledge of where I'm housed and that I'm in custody. How does changing the wording change what's already known?
Thank you.
She's like, idiot.
Of course, when I drafted this yesterday, factually, what I put in there would be accurate because that's where the jury view is going to take place. I think changing the verbiage so that it says a garage attached to the Waukesha County Courthouse takes away any possibility that other law enforcement is condoning what is happening or somehow related to the case. It is true the location was selected due to your custodial status and being able to secure the area for the court, for you, for the jurors, etc. But it's also a controlled environment, I think, a good thing for purposes of the jury view.
No way.
So
he was held back twice and he was 16. Oh, wow. Do you know what grades that he failed? Oh, sorry, Munchkin. Y'all know what grades he failed? Oh, wow. That makes so much sense that he dropped out of school and he failed. So look, does he have a learning issue, like a learning disability, or was he just lazy? Y'all let me know.
I am going to adopt the draft that was submitted by the state. It still is factually accurate.
That's true.
And from my perspective, again, the importance of this instruction is to tell them what is and what is not evidence. And to instruct them and to not talk during this time. They can't discuss what they see during this time. This instruction will be read while we are still in the courtroom prior to the parties in the court going to the Sally Port for that viewing. And I've already discussed how it will be contemporaneously recorded so that it's part of the record as well.
So if I was
7 watching and 58 likes. Let me get them likes up, please, and thank you.
Here, where will I be at?
My understanding, if you choose to be there, is you will be escorted like you are in court here now. The bailiffs would be with you. You'd be in your suit.
No, where will I be at?
You would. I don't know exactly. That's up to the sheriff's department as to.
So do you want her to give you coordinates? You're going to be, north of 31 degrees and then it's south and it's going to intersect and form a 90-degree angle? Like, I don't know what he's asking.
Where all the parties are going to stand. Obviously, you would, we're not going to commingle you with the state or the state with jurors or you with the jurors or the court or anything like that. We're my understanding is we'll have sort of assigned places and that it's only myself who will walk around. And I may not even do that. I have to think about that. But the jurors are the ones who are going to walk around the vehicle one time.
So I don't get to walk around the vehicle?
What? Why?
I can have you do that.
Remember, you did walk around the vehicle because when you hit the little logs in the backyard and you ran out of gas, you walked out the vehicle, walked around and looked at the front and said "fuck" and ran off. So you've already looked at it. You know what the shit looked like.
Before the jurors come in, I certainly can have you do that if you would like. I can give the parties that opportunity.
May I add something else, Your Honor? I agree with everything the court said. I also think Mr. Brooks should understand that it will be a fair process. He's not going to be led into the room in shackles in front of the jury. What it's my understanding from Captain Dussault, the attorneys for the state, the prosecution team will be in the room. Mr. Brooks will be in the room. We will be in our assigned location. It will be fair. It will match. There will be basically no distinction between how Mr. Brooks appears to the jury versus how we appear to the jury. We will be in there first. If the court's willing to allow him to walk around the car one time to look at it, we have no objection to that. And then the jurors will come in. No one will speak. They will do one lap around the car. They will leave the room. And then the parties will leave the room. That's my understanding, Your Honor.
And I will add to that, because it's been a while since I had some preliminary discussions with the sheriff's department on this, that if however many bailiffs, sheriff's deputies are with you, I want the same number with the state, right? And that's what we mean by it will look no different. So each party will be accompanied by deputies.
I have a question to that.
Okay.
How come none of that knowledge of how it would be conducted was discussed with me? I didn't know anything about how the bailiffs would actually do things, how certain things would go. This is my first time hearing this.
Well, we have preliminary.
I don't understand it.
We have preliminary discussions at the time of the request back in August when you still were represented by counsel. And then I had some additional preliminary discussions, if you will, internally with court staff, which included Captain Dussault and someone from the jail to talk about it and the logistics of it. And then, of course, we're having the discussion now, which is, again, why there's no jury here now. I wanted to wait until the appropriate time and then make a record of everything.
But don't you
At no time did I have conversations independently with the state. They had filed a letter at one point because they themselves had, again, my understanding, and Attorney Opera can correct me if I'm wrong, had some discussions to see if it was feasible. They had some discussions with Captain Dussault. And Captain Dussault is with the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. Of course, the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department and the sheriff is statutorily responsible for the security of the campus, security of the courtroom. And so that would be the proper person for any party to have discussions about a piece of evidence such as this. But I did not have any discussions with the state myself. That only happened in the setting of a courtroom or when a letter was received and I reviewed it.
I haven't reviewed that letter or seen it. Don't you think that?
Well, bitch, if you had got the letter and seen it, it would have been in these boxes that your attorneys turned over, the discovery, and you wouldn't have read it no way. That's the problem. You wouldn't have read it no way. Because you didn't read the letter from yesterday and the letter from today. You didn't read it. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Specifically addressed with the jury status hearing, at which time he was represented by Attorney Perry and Attorney Keys. It is on file and it was addressed by this court, many of these details, Your Honor.
All right.
Many of the same
So-
details that's being discussed right now at this moment.
All right,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks, do you have a request as it relates to any of that?
Well, yeah, I'm still trying to understand the whole how this is all working, and then it was a reference to how the shackles would look, or how being shackled or not being shackled. I'm guessing that I can't just walk around freely with bailiffs. I'm sure there would be some type of shackles.
I will tell them you are not to be shackled visibly for the jury to see.
And what do you mean by visibly, Your Honor?
Visibly, what she meant by visibly, it would be what the jury could see. She just freaking told you what visibly meant. Use your eyes visibly. That's what visibly means. God, dog.
So obviously when you sit in court, you're shackled to a table. They can't see that. I'm not going to have you in belly chains or in leg shackles. You're just going to be escorted. And it will be up to them how they determine.
Well, he may be in leg shackles, Your Honor, if there's a table or some way that they can keep that out of the view of the jury.
Now remember, Opera just said leg shackles. Leg shackles, okay? Shackles.
Just like he is in court. He's shackled in court. He has been for 3
Shackled.
weeks.
Actually, these are
The security has to be left at the discretion of the sheriff's department.
actually these are leg shock devices, not shackles.
Sir, the security is up to the sheriff's department. I should be careful not to overstep my bounds on that. And, you know, whatever is done, it should not be viewable or visible to the jury.
And why is that, Your Honor? I don't understand that part. Why is the jury not privileged to see?
That is to your benefit.
Shackles?
I'm not going to explain that any further.
I don't.
This is common freaking sense. Like, I don't understand. You're trying not to prejudice the jury. You're trying not to have them automatically see you in chains and shackled, because they'll be easier to convict you if they already see you looking like a criminal. This ain't hard.
I don't understand. I'm just seeking to understand. I don't know.
All right, I need to move on. So unless there's a specific request other than a statement that you're making about your lack of understanding, I need to move on with the other topics.
There is a specific request. Why do I have to have ankle shocks on my ankles?
Listen to this, y'all.
To appear at this jury view thing.
The very jury view that you did not want to go to, and you said that you were not going to consent to. Yet we're talking about this jury view thing.
I guess I'm not aware of what you're talking about. So were you advised by the sheriff's department that that would be the case?
Listen.
Well, the DA just said that I would have the ankle shocks on.
No.
Ankle shocks on. Did Opera the Chopper say there will be ankle shocks on? I think the shock, hey, troubleshooter, the shock shit came from you, not Opera the Chopper. That came from you. Ankle shock devices. If he had on shock devices, I truly believe my boy back here would have hit the button. I mean, I know I would have hit the button plenty of times. I'm just saying.
Shackles, she said.
No, these are not shackles. They're shock device.
Judge, I think perhaps we can move on. I think maybe because this is going to have to occur on a break, the bailiffs can take him down there if Captain Dussault is willing, show him what it's going to be like, show him how he's going to get there, and he can decide at that point if he wants to be there or not when the jury comes in the room. We're spending a lot of time talking about security and things that are frankly beyond your knowledge and my knowledge.
Opera the Chopper said, look, we don't have time for this bullshit. We got an agenda, we got a plan, and we need to stick to it. This is a waste of all of our time. This is a complete waste of time. This is not even something that is in our purview. It's not within the scope of our job description. So why are we even talking about this? She needs to talk to the jail folks. That's who needs to deal with this. We don't do custodial movements. So this is beneath us. You know, this is beneath us. We're at the popular kids table. This is for them over there at the other table.
I object to that. I'm simply trying to understand, why do I need ankle shocks?
I'm going to leave the security. I'm not going to make any specific orders. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I will leave the security of the jury view to the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. That is their responsibility. And I trust that they will do what needs to be done to maintain the security, no different than what they do here. And in their discretion will determine how best that takes place. And if I need to address anything after that or at that point in time, then it should be brought to my attention, but we are going to move on this morning.
So I should discuss that with the sheriff?
Yes.
Moron, you know, you're in custody. Of course, you're going to discuss that with whomever is the person that is.
So I know, Mr. Brooks, you filed with the court 2 documents. I'm going to take them under advisement.
No, it's one document. It's one. It was 2 papers, but it's one document.
I wish they would shock him in the mouth.
Thank you for that clarification. It's 1 filing, 2 papers, just front side, entitled Alleged Defendant Jurisdictional Challenge and Mandatory Judicial Notice by Affidavit. It references the case caption, the case number. I will simply take it under advisement, and I'll review it later. And if I believe it needs to further be addressed, I will do that. It's my understanding, sir, that you are requesting the original back. Is that true?
Yes.
So normally, just so you know, when documents are filed with the court, we maintain the original until it's scanned in and it's audited. And then because under the statute, once it's e-filed or into the electronic filing system and the electronic case, I believe we just destroy the documents at that point. So I don't have an issue giving you back the original, but it needs to run the normal course.
Make a mistake.
Needs to scan it in. I've advised you of this previously, but in the courtroom, we don't have the time stamp. We just have the date stamp. I will state for the record that you provided this. It was right away at the beginning of the morning. So at 8:30 a.m. is when it was filed with the court. So that will be on the record. And then at some point today, when we're on a break, my clerk can scan it in and then provide the original back to you. And then I'll have the electronic copy to review.
You're giving him way too many words. Way too many words.
I want to say to that too, in reference to that, I actually said on record numerous times that I wanted the original copies of all my filings. I've actually said that 3 times on the record. This would be the 4th time.
What does she have to do with your original filings? She gets a upload because you sent them to the clerk of court. The clerk of court would have your original filings. Judge Darrell wouldn't have original copies to send you. Freaking goofball.
Every filing that
I'm going to give it back to you, sir, but I'm not required to by law.
Well, I'm just saying on record that I've asked for that numerous times.
Who cares? Who cares?
Statements noted for the record. All right.
So would I be able to get all the original copies of all my filings?
I'm not going to address that any further, sir, because I am not the official keeper of the record. As to what was filed this morning, as a courtesy, we will provide you back with the original once it's scanned and it's in my electronic file.
I was told that you make the decision if I can get the original copy.
And I just made a determination you could have the original back of this.
Can I have the originals for all my files?
I'm not going to address that right now, sir. I don't have time, frankly, to look through everything that you filed to determine whether we've given you originals or not. In the future,
I have the copies. I don't have the originals.
All right, I'm going to move on.
I have them here.
This is taking up valuable time with the jury. We need to keep going.
This is 1 hour and 17 minutes and 35 seconds. He has wasted an hour, almost an hour and a half on this BS. An hour and a half on nonsense.
Is that a judicial determination, Your Honor, that I can't get an answer to
I don't
something?
believe there's any other preliminary issues we need to address unless the parties have anything from the state.
Just very briefly, Your Honor, to advise the court, I have 4 witnesses here that I believe are very brief records custodian type witnesses on some video evidence. I'm hoping my direct should take 5 to 10 minutes for each of them. And then I have 2 police officers who will be testifying. There will be some physical evidence involved when those officers testify. And Detective Casey went to retrieve it and he will bring it to the courtroom. When that moment comes, do you want me to have
y'all hear his jail pen? He keeps hitting his jail pen on the desk.
Detective Reglan take the exhibits to the witness stand, or what is the court's direction on that?
I would like you to provide it to the Sheriff's Department bailiff who's in the courtroom. My bailiff who will then take it to the witness stand.
Okay, Deputy Bordeaux and yes, okay, I understand. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the roadmap for today, if you will. Anything preliminary other than the filing, sir, and other than the topic we've discussed this morning?
Yeah, I'm still wondering when I will get the copies back for the ICFs that I filed.
I can't answer that. I don't have those, sir. You'll have to reach out to Clerk of Court Monica Paz.
Well, what happened to them?
I don't.
They're in her ass. That's what happened to them. They're in your ass. How would she know?
No, I don't. They're not part of the record. So you'll
They
have to
should
take
be.
that up with her in inmate communication form and ask her for those. But I'm not going to address that any further on the record. All right, let's bring the jury out.
Oh, it's kind of funny that they disappeared.
It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy.
No, ICF disappeared before.
Not evidence, sir. So
they haven't disappeared before. I've always got copies. What's the difference now?
All rise for the jury.
So I have to readdress her the same thing in order to get copies that I've always been getting since the beginning
so
of
frustrating.
You telling me to file ICF.
Shut up. See, if you want to make a list of whatever documents you believe you have not been provided copies with, I will, as a courtesy, instruct my clerk, Teresa. They're not going to be dates or timestamps other than what's in the file. They'll be from the electronic file. Don't give them shit. To provide her with a list, and then I will do that as a courtesy to you. But I'm not required to do that. But as a courtesy, I will do that. And as far as any ICFs, if they weren't directed to me, then you will have to follow up with Clerk of Court Monica Paz. I don't have them. They're not part of the file.
Then why were you getting them before?
You'll have to ask her that.
I have to ask her why you were getting them before?
Yeah, bitch. That's what, because she
My
sent them.
is they were forwarded to me, sir. But we'll.
So what happened to this one being forwarded to you?
Sir, I can't answer.
Do you want her to take over the clerk's body so she can find out what happened to the filings that you sent to the clerk? Fool, I don't have, man. There would have been so much if I had been this judge. He probably could have got out on appeal if he had to deal with me. I would have disrespected him 100 ways to sundown.
Answer that. I can't answer what I don't know. So
It
the
seems
jury's
like
coming
you're trying
in.
to
We're
avoid
going to continue
like.
with the trial. So thank
Just
you.
like you avoided subject matter
jurisdiction.
jurisdiction. You haven't proven that on the record.
Hey, AKA Shaza. So this is when the jury's coming in. This is when the jury's coming in. Like, great posture, body
Thank you,
language.
everyone. Please be seated. And thank you for your patience this morning as the court addressed
okay,
some legal issues with the parties. All right. If the state would please call their next witness.
Thank you, Judge. The state calls.
Under the heading tires.
Okay,
wheels.
I'm gonna do this officer here. This is Officer Ryan Schultz, and I'm only gonna do the cross because it's a lot of car talk, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really interested in the car talk. His ugly self. But we're going to see somebody being stupid, i.e. Darrell being stupid. Now, remember, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this part, and then I'm going to play, the early part of day 13 when he was trying to do his Hail Mary and talk about the recall on the vehicles. Where we at? Damn. Let me see. Okay.
There was a lot of damage. Objection. Leading.
Sustained us to the form of a question.
Look, he got one. The vehicle.
Did you observe any problems with regard to the steering?
Yeah.
Answer.
So that includes people
Overrule the witness.
reported.
On the exterior. He said 2 miles.
I'm trying to remember who Officer Schultz reminds me of. He reminds me of somebody famous or in a movie.
I do.
What is depicted in that photograph?
Objection.
And see, this is the wood that he ran over and disabled his
Training and
vehicle.
experience, the witness may answer.
That it appears to be an exhaust muffler and a couple chunks of wood and overturned dirt. On the stair and to see that.
Check to see if there were any recalls of the vehicle.
Ah, there you go.
Coming to your conclusion.
Objection, speculative, and do we still need this exhibit?
Thank you. We can take that down, and your objections noted. It's overruled. The witness may
And look,
answer.
were there any recalls?
I do check for recalls, yes.
Were there any on this vehicle?
There were not recalls on this vehicle. There was only an extended service warranty from Ford, which had since elapsed due to the mileage on the vehicle.
There you go. Wasn't no recall on the vehicle. Wasn't no recall. That question was deliberately asked, and this is day 10. Day 10. But, you know, if you were listening and taking notes, then you would have remembered that. And you wouldn't have even tried that BS Hail Mary that your mother did.
Now, you talked about the brake system in terms of the brake pedal within the car, and it's that was operating correctly. Do you recall that testimony?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. It's foundational. The witness may answer.
Yes, I do.
Now, when a person activates the pedal, what is happening within the car?
There's actually a lot of things that happen within the car when you activate the brake pedal. When you press the brake pedal, it pushes on it's called a push rod, but it actually pulls on it. It pulls on the rod, which goes into the brake master cylinder, and that master cylinder is what pumps hydraulic fluid from the brake fluid reservoir to each independent wheel on this vehicle.
See what I said? It's a whole lot of car talk. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I just need to, when I get in the car and hit, push the start and put it in drive. And that's all I need to know. This is a conversation for my husband to listen to. I don't know nothing about no cars.
As I had discussed before, where the vehicle is still trying to maintain momentum, the ABS system can override, and that's where you would get the vibration in the pedal that many of you may have felt before. That's your ABS system doing its job, not allowing the wheels to lock themselves up. What it's actually doing is pulsating the fluid in the vehicle.
And when you talk about brake pads, how do the brake pads work?
Yeah.
Bleeding.
Okay.
What?
Is there anything
Look at his expression
that you observed or documented with it during or in your mechanical inspection report that would have contributed?
La.
Do you recall how many your inspection?
Thank you.
All right, finally. Hell. It's
During your
showtime.
inspection, did you see any bullet holes? Yes, I did. Do you recall where?
Too bad the bullet hole wasn't in your head.
Back up.
Back
Do
that
you
ass
recall
up.
how many bullet holes you observed?
I do not recall a number of them. No, I knew there were more than one.
The ones that you observed, do you recall where they were?
I do believe one might have exited through either the windshield or rear window, and one was in the side of the vehicle, if I remember correctly.
And did you find any shell casings?
No, I did not.
And you said you did
Hey,
the
Cassandra.
inspection on December 6th?
That's correct.
Do you know if the vehicle had been
Come on.
do you know if anyone attempted to start the vehicle in between that time of the crash and your inspection?
Not to my knowledge, no.
You didn't have no gas for them to start it. You was literally riding on fumes. You didn't have no gas. What kind of a pimp, and you flashing ones in a video in your mama house, and y'all got white appliances and a cheap, nasty fake aluminum pan, and you couldn't put gas in your car. When you was over there stalking Erica, I mean, you was by a gas station and you didn't stop to get no gas.
But you don't know for sure.
That's correct.
Come on. Come together right now.
You made reference to the left rear tire being bigger than the other tires.
Yes.
Can you give a little bit more clarity on how that would affect the vehicle?
From my Anglo-Saxon friends, the reason why he has a tire that is bigger on his left side or whatever, it's because he did not go to the car dealership or express oil change or something like that to get his tire fixed. So 9 times out of 10, he had a bad tire. So he went to what we call a shade tree mechanic. Okay. So a shade tree mechanic is just one of the people in the neighborhood who is unlicensed, who has not, they have no training on working on vehicles. So, but you can get they'll hook you up, like I can change your oil, I can do this, I can change your tire. So this was probably a spare tire that he probably got from the junkyard. And I think he probably paid like $25 to get the tire fixed. But that's a shade tree mechanic. I don't know if folks up north say it, but it's a southern thing, and it's primarily a word that my community uses, a shade tree mechanic. And you asking for 1,000 problems with shade tree mechanics, 1,000 problems, because they don't know what the heck they're doing.
So one larger tire on the vehicle would obviously make the vehicle lean ever so slightly away from whichever side is larger than the other. In this case, the amount of difference between the two tires, it's about 1.5 inches in difference in radius. So in radius, you get half of that amount in height. So it would be about 3/4 of an inch difference.
He don't know what the hell you're talking about. He don't know what the hell you're talking about at all.
In height. That amount of difference is not noticeable in a vehicle. The other thing that it would cause is premature tire wear from one side to the other over time, to where one tire might wear faster than the other.
And that's what you get with a shade tree mechanic. And another reason they call it a shade tree is usually in the neighborhood, they're usually a car with the hood up underneath a tree. So it's a shade tree mechanic. I just wanted to give that to you too.
Suspension might not act correctly because it's not at the same ride height anymore. So eventually over time, those are things I would expect to potentially see from that. Each vehicle acts differently with different size tires on it. There's no one size fits all.
Come on, you're confused. I know you're confused.
So different vehicles act differently. having a bigger fitting tire.
Yes, fool. My car has smaller tires in the front, bigger tires in the back. Yes, different cars act differently. But you wouldn't know, about anything modern over, that raggedy piece of shit you was driving. So whatever.
Yes.
You made reference to it, to a vehicle leaning away from the side that's bigger.
Correct.
Would that in any way create a slight pull to the vehicle, to either side?
In my experience, that small amount would not, no.
No. Nice try, though. You tried it. You tried
And you made reference to the high beams. I don't remember exactly what you said referring to the high beams.
Then why are you asking questions? See, here's another thing that irritates me about him. Why do you continue to ask questions that you do not know the answer to? That is so irritating. Why would you ask? I'm gonna stop. I'm stopping.
I guess you made reference to them being used at some point.
The high beams were activated when I did my inspection, meaning that when the headlights are on, they were in high beam mode. The selector stick was pressed forward for the high beams.
Come on. I know he winging it. I know. That's right. 1,000 problems for $25. That is correct.
Yeah. Why would a vehicle use high beams?
Usually a driver uses high beams to see better or to illuminate things better.
To see, yes.
So that would primarily refer to if it was nighttime?
Correct.
Would you say, with your expertise, it wouldn't make sense for a vehicle to use high beams in the daytime?
There are limited uses for them in the daytime, yes.
And what are some of the uses from your knowledge?
Generally, the high beams shine brighter, so even with sunlight shining on them, other vehicles can see them. It's a thing that we use on the highway as law enforcement sometimes. We'll use the high beams at a crash scene. We'll turn the high beams on so oncoming traffic coming in during the daytime sees that brighter light from the vehicle. It's just a little bit of the thing to help oncoming vehicles see.
So it would essentially be for identification purposes.
Not so much for identification, no.
How having your high beams on is for identification purposes. Does your high beams have a driver's license or passport on it for identification purposes? Hey, 504. I don't understand that question. Identification.
What do you mean when you refer to for oncoming traffic to be able to
see?
More for visibility is what I mean, so that it stands out to the other traffic. It doesn't look like it belongs because the lights look very bright. It gets the other driver's attention, the same as the red and blue lights on the top of the cars.
Gets them to notice that law enforcement is present.
Yeah, come on. Let's go.
That's what I meant by ID purposes, for them to be able to see.
Then yes.
I like him. He's so soft-spoken.
Were you able to inspect the entire engine?
I was not able to inspect the entire engine.
We know it was raggedy.
And what parts of the engine were you not able to inspect?
The only parts that I was unable to inspect would be down in the front by the belt pulleys area. I could see that the radiator was pushed into it, but I couldn't see what components had been damaged by that. as far as like water pump or anything like that. And I do not usually take the engines down, meaning I don't take them apart as part of my inspection anyways. My main under the hood inspection components would be non-engine related aside from the throttle.
You made reference to the water pump. Did you notice any water leaking?
Yes, there was coolant that had leaked from the vehicle.
Uh-oh.
From the water pump?
I don't know where it actually had leaked from, but I know that there was a lack of coolant in the vehicle. It could have come from a lot of various different places. It was no longer leaking when I saw it. It was empty.
Uh-oh.
So you didn't actually observe it leaking?
Correct.
Did he just say he didn't know how it was leaking? But I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. He makes me so angry. Lord, come on.
So it'd be fair to say you don't know where the leaking came from?
Your ass. That's where it came from.
Were you told that the vehicle was leaking?
No, it just has a low coolant level, meaning it leaked from someplace or it had never been filled properly.
It probably wouldn't fill properly.
So at that time, it'd be fair to say you weren't sure if it had been filled properly or if it was leaking.
Either is possible.
But it'd be fair to say you didn't know for sure which of the two.
That's what he said.
Correct.
Listen. Y'all, he makes me so mad.
You made reference to a loose ball joint. Can you give a little bit more clarity on exactly what is a ball joint?
So the ball joint is at the wheel end. When you turn your steering wheel in your vehicle, there's a shaft attached to the wheel, goes down to a rack and pinion system. The pinion is a round gear. The rack is a flat piece of metal with gear teeth on it. As you turn, it pushes the tie rods left and right. As you turn left and right, on the end of each of those tie rods is a ball and socket joint, much like the hip joint on a human being. It's a ball that fits inside of a socket. And what that does is it allows the wheel to turn left and right as it's being pushed by the tie rod without any binding or any issues in between.
So we can analogize this to your jaw. When you have to be on the yard and you're doing some strange for some change, you have to extend your jaw to move left or right in order to accomplish your goal for your commissary. He should have explained it that way.
That is clarity. I don't know anything about cars, so
clearly.
And
dude faces like, this dude is a freaking moron. Like, he is stupid.
You said there was a loose ball joint?
Yes, the left front was loose.
And
come on.
To what effect could that affect the vehicle?
Come on.
The amount that it was loose, it would only wear more with more use. As those components start to wear down, they start to have a little play. The longer the vehicle is operated without proper repairs, the worse the play gets.
Oh, he wanted him to say that it was the left, it was leaning, and he couldn't control it and get it back to the right, and that's what made him run over the kids. Oh, nice try again.
The worse the play gets, then you can start having issues with improper tire wear and so on and so forth until it gets to the point that it actually separates. The ball and socket themselves will separate from each other.
And then what happens at that point?
If the ball and socket joints separate, you would lose steering at that wheel. The other wheel would still be able to
steer. There you go. That's what you're looking for. You're losing steering. Come on.
From your inspection, can you tell roughly how long this ball joint was loose?
I cannot tell exactly how long. No, I can say that it was loose before the crash occurred, just based on the fact that it was worn, not broken.
So that means that your car was a piece of shit. Got it.
So with your expertise, would it be fair to say that that needed to be taken care of?
Yes, that needed to be corrected.
But you didn't do it. That was your house. You didn't do it. That was your mobile home, and you didn't
You
do
made
it.
reference to the gas.
You embarrassed?
The vehicle having difficulty starting. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Because your dumb ass didn't put gas in the car. That's what happened. Hello? Look, she looked at me. Oh, that was good timing. Bruh, hurry up. Let's get it on. Ah, let's get it on. Darrell, let's get it on. Ugly, let's get it on.
And reference to the axles.
Oh, you didn't want to touch on the gas.
Taking them off the vehicle?
The axle I do not take off of the vehicle at all.
What did you do in regards to the axle?
The axle ends, wheel ends, that's where the brake components are mounted. So I remove the wheel and tire from the actual axle end.
I think that's what I was referring to.
You should have
I'm
said
sorry
it
if I
then.
misquoted.
Well, you're
I
dumb.
know you made some reference to removing something. I just
reference of, oh, okay.
So you meant the axle.
So you made a reference to moving something and you just assumed it was the axle, but you didn't know for sure. Why would you ask this question? It's like I'm mesmerized. He is mesmerizingly stupid.
When you inspect the axle and remove, you said the wheel?
Yes.
What is being expected at that point?
So when I remove the wheel and tire from the vehicle, I remove all four of them one at a time. And that's where I actually look at the brake components themselves, being the brake pads, the brake calipers, pistons inside the caliper, brake rotors. And then I get a better view of the tie rod that I was just speaking about because it's actually next to the wheel on the axle end of the vehicle.
You said the tire rod?
The tie rod, ball joint that was loose.
Oh, okay.
The same thing. Sorry, y'all. I'm tired of yelling.
So what?
Even I know this. It's the same thing.
We're clear about the ball joint and tire rod. Is there a difference between the two?
Yes, the ball joint is the joint itself, and it's on the end of the tie rod.
Did you notice anything wrong with the tie rod? The actual tie rod, not the ball joint?
No, there was nothing wrong with the tie rod.
Let's get it on. Ugly. Let's get it on. Darrell is so damn ugly. He's even ugly on the phone. He can't get no women because he's ugly to the bone. Mr. Ugly Man, get you with this, Mr. Ugly Man. Shabba. Mr. Ugly Man, I get away.
Just 1 second. I'm just looking over these notes.
One Mississippi. That's 1 second. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, doofus. Let's go. I could not have been in that jury. I would have been like, I can't do this. I have COVID. I can't do this.
On page 9 of your report, and you did give some clarity to this. I'm just curious to know.
I don't understand. That's what he means. I'm stupid.
On page 9.
I don't understand.
Well, first of all, you wrote this report yourself, correct?
Yes.
Well, it's his report, so yeah, he wrote it.
On page 9, the second sentence.
Come
I'm
on.
assuming you still have the exhibit. 83.
It's a exhibit. Z-I-B-I-T. Exhibit.
It says, I noted a worn tie rod end on the left front wheel end. Was that in reference to the ball joint and not?
Oh my God, that's exactly what dude just said about the tie rod that was worn on the left.
Not the tie rod?
Yes. They're one and the same. The tie rod end is a ball joint. It's two different ways to refer to the same component.
Okay, I was clarity.
Yeah.
It doesn't say ball joint right here. Would that be fair to say?
Correct.
And what is the high mount brake lamp?
The high mount brake lamp is on the back.
Before he even says this, I already know, because the word brake and lamp is in there. That's your brake lights, your tail lights. That's the shit when you push on the brake, it lights up in the back. David, I don't know what the hell this means about if I was Joe Biden, I would pardon Darrell and all black murderers. But I think I'm going to block this comment because it's stupid. And yeah, it's stupid and kind of racist. So have a good day, sir. Oh, and another thing I want to just tell people, and I'm gonna block you off my channel as well. One thing I'm gonna tell you, another thing I'm gonna tell you is any of you people who want to come in here and troll, you're more than welcome to troll. However, I myself started my YouTube career as a troll. So coming in here trying to troll me is not going to work because I'm a troll. So all I'm going to do is block you. And you can come in here with 1,000 accounts. I'm just going to block you because you're not going to come in here and say anything stupid. Because we're not on that type of time. So you come in here with that bullshit, I'm blocking you. Okay? I mean, I'm all about free speech, but you're not going to say anything, inflammatory or racist in here, because that's not what we're going to do. Okay? Just wanted to throw that out there. That ain't what we're doing. Okay? Let's continue. Freaking weirdos. Go to sleep.
Of the vehicle, you have the right brake light and turn signal, left brake light and turn signal, and then there's the third brake light that's like usually in the rear window or at the top of the back of the hatch of the vehicle. That's the high mount brake lamp.
Okay. And it was inoperable when you inspected it?
That's correct. Both of those were inoperable during inspection.
So they didn't work?
Correct.
Oh, the brake lamps didn't work. So all those questions you were asking about, did you see brake lights? It didn't. The brake lights didn't work. Ooh. No, it didn't work.
So it'd be fair to say if someone was viewing the vehicle from behind, they wouldn't be able to see.
Come on.
Because those were inoperable.
Yes,
Right.
at the time of inspection, those lights did not work.
Look, book's still not open.
And you also stated that it is unknown if they were working prior to the crash or damaged during the crash. That'd be fair to say?
That's correct.
That.
However, the rear of your vehicle wasn't damaged. It was the front of the vehicle that was damaged. So I'm pretty sure I would go out on a limb and say that they didn't work because you didn't maintain your car. I'm just throwing it out there.
You would know either way.
No, I would not have a way to tell when that light bulb went out.
He gonna make me lose my mind up in here, up in here. He's gonna make me go all out up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me act a fool up in here, up in here. This bitch is gonna make me lose my cool up in here, up in here. Let's go, 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 go. This is amazing to me. This is amazing. You did no preparation at all. You did no preparation, and you're
No
reading
further questions.
a report.
Any redirect?
Yeah. I don't care about the redirect. All right, so we got what Officer Schultz said. Now, let's go to day 13, the beginning of day 13. Let me see here. Gonna come in here talking about something. Put all the black folk. Got me fucked up. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. No, that's it. There we go. That's the right one. Now, if y'all remember, he was a little studious little student. He was a little studious little B on day 13 when he had his, this was Hail Mary Day. Look, Darrell is making me crazy. I'm just like, I cannot do this. I'm about to lose my mind. But yeah, this was his day. Hold on, let me get some music up playing. Because I'm just ready for this to start. Look at him. He ain't never been this studious in his life. He is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He is ready to go. He is ready to go. Look at him. He got all his papers. He getting everything lined up. He got the jailhouse pen. He taking notes. He ready. He is ready. I did all my homework tonight. I'm ready. Ready. Yes, this was the Hail Mary Day. This was the Hail Mary Day. He tried it for real. And I'm gonna do a stream on the Hail Mary Day. And of course I'm gonna do day 12, because day 12 was the epic day. That was the epic day. When all his witnesses backfired spectacularly. Spectacularly. Okay, hold on. Look at him. He ain't never worked so hard in his life. He like R. Kelly. I'm fighting for my life, man. I'm fighting for my life. Look at him. Look at all this paper shuffling. He loves to shuffle papers. Look at all the papers. He ready. He practicing. He practicing what he want to say. He got all this together.
You may have the appearances, please.
Oh, hold on. Let me put this down. All right, let's go back. Okay, here we go.
Morning, Judge Sue Upper, Leslie Basie, and Zach Woodshaw appearing for the state of Wisconsin.
I'm here as a third party intervener in that matter.
Thank you. Did you like the music? There's this, if you look in my description, I have musical attributions in there. So it's a guy who makes wonderful music. And that it is royalty free. So you can use it so long as it's attributed in the video. And I've been watching a lot of astronomy videos. So they use that music in the astronomy videos. So that's where I got them from. So if you go to my attributions or go to the attributions in my in my description, you'll see it. And then you can go to the channel. And I'm telling you, his music is freaking amazing. I love it.
Appearing as authorized representative for my client. I accept for value in return for value all of the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for the discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments and make a reservation of all my rights here this morning.
All rights reserved.
All rights reserved.
All rights reserved, baby.
To you as well. The record to reflect the individual known to this court as Darrell Brooks is present in person.
You can see it by her hair. She done got a full night's rest. She ready to go. She's like, it's almost over. I'm about to turn this corner. This is gonna be the last couple of days of this shit. I'm rested. I'm ready.
Custody. However, he is wearing street clothes, a suit and tie, and a mask.
I don't consent to being called that name.
It is noted. All right, Mr. Brooks, just preliminarily, do you anticipate calling any additional witnesses today?
For the record, I don't consent to being called that name. And what was the question?
Hold on.
Anticipate calling.
I love Enya. I got the album. Sail away, sail away, sail away. I love me some Enya.
Any witnesses today?
I don't believe today.
I don't believe today. So you had said when you did how are you a judge? And if I tell my mama to come, she gonna come. And you were told that your mom is supposed to testify on Monday. It's Monday. So what do you mean not today?
Well, we are here for the continuation of testimony. The only witness that I'm aware of that's on your list that you added is your mother, Dawn Woods. So I would expect that if she's going to testify, she would be here. Otherwise, I will be going through the colloquy with you as to whether you intend to testify.
And I don't know if that was Glenn or somebody else that said his behavior on this day was because he was embarrassed that his mom didn't show up for him. And, now I can kind of see it that, mommy rejected him. And she was like, I'm not coming to court. I'm not going to put myself in any further danger taken up for your goofy ass.
Today or not.
Did you receive my
here you go.
ICS that I addressed to you?
Hey, Munchkin.
Well, I haven't looked. Let me look.
He ready. Look at him. He anxious too. Did you get my ICFs I addressed to you?
Actually, I just went to you and then went to the prosecution.
Yeah. Hey, Munchkin. Hey, my Munch.
It is.
I'm gonna brush your teeth
The audio's
tonight.
on.
Hey, Munchkin.
Do you know when you sent those?
Saturday.
Well, thank you, Tony.
22nd.
I'm sure you'll be in my comment section.
State receive anything through like the inter-office communication?
We have not, I just checked this morning to see if there's anything new. Nothing has been received in my office.
I can sit with mommy.
And I should say the clerical that was assisting me went to the mailroom to double check. So not only has it not made its way to the DA's office, it hasn't even made its way over to the mailroom.
Like, y'all, look at my boys in gray. I got my Zach here in gray, looking cute. Here you go. Here you go. You can never sit still. And then you got my warrior right here in gray. Both my boys in gray.
I can email the jail administrator to find out if there's anything in transit, if there's no objection from the parties, from the state.
No objection.
From you, sir?
No objection.
Hey, the best mama
Definitely
bear.
want those documents received as they obtain important information.
They vital information.
You said you forwarded them to a staff member on Saturday?
Yes.
Do you know if that was morning, afternoon, or some other time?
Maybe afternoon.
How the hell you don't know?
And those are 2 ICF forms?
Yeah, one addressed to you directly and one addressed to the district attorney's office.
Isn't her typing so, like calming? It's like ASMR. Paisley. You trying to get in the fan. You want to have the breeze blowing through your hair. You want the breeze blowing through your hair. Oh no, Mama wouldn't. Well, she probably won't lie under oath.
Important send. We'll see what response I get. But I don't have anything. If you want to generally tell me the topic, we can cover it verbally.
Here we go, y'all.
The topic is pertaining to exculpatory evidence. Some things were learned.
I wonder who told him exculpatory. I wonder who told him that. He must have picked it up in the law library. Okay, Paisley. Okay, I'll put you down.
And once they came to my attention, I felt the need to immediately address the court about this information.
Right. What information? Make an offer of proof for me, sir.
The expert witness for the prosecution in regards to, I believe it was inspecting the vehicle.
Okay, time out. Talking about Inspector Schultz, inspected the vehicle. Go on.
Officer Ryan Schultz.
Officer Schultz.
Question was asked.
Asked. A-X-E-D.
Did he know if there were any recalls
on that vehicle? The vehicle.
And
he said no.
I believe that a Brady claim should be visited because there were, in fact, recalls on that vehicle. In fact, there were recalls on the Ford Escape models from 2008 through 2010 in regards to the throttle body malfunctioning and causing the vehicles to accelerate and not being able to be stopped.
Boy,
there is a class action lawsuit where Ford company were sued because of this, and those vehicles models from the year 2008 through 2010 were recalled.
So guys, when he's talking about a Brady claim, what he's asking for is a rule that requires the prosecution has to turn over all exculpatory evidence to the defendant in a criminal case. Now remember, this is a sovereign citizen. There's no such thing as criminal court or criminal cases. So I don't know why a Brady claim would need to be offered, because you're in either admiralty law or you're in it escapes me. The other law, y'all know, there's no criminal law.
And that is very important information in regards to the vehicle in question being a Ford Escape 2010.
Right.
This information is very easily obtained.
Thank you.
Just
Thank you,
by
Mr. Karen.
pulling
Military.
it up, and you will see a class action lawsuit. Obviously, if it's a class action lawsuit, then it's pretty easy to.
So what's your request, sir?
My request is,
come on,
to find out if Officer Schultz knew, to find out if the prosecution knew that there was a recall on those vehicles.
Well, the question was asked, AXCD, about was there a recall on the vehicles? And Officer Schultz said there was no recall on the vehicles. So I'm not sure exactly why he's trying to do this.
And in light of the
he trying
the
it.
fact that these vehicles were recalled because of this malfunctioning throttle body.
Come on.
Or
come on.
I believe it's counts 1 through 73 to be dismissed.
Oh, so because it was a recall on the throttle bodies, the recall, it wasn't a recall. Counts 1 through 73 would be dismissed. And he was charged with how many crimes? 76. So what's going to be the 3 left? Because you killed 6 people. So what's the 3 that's left? The bail jumping, the Erica Patterson battery, and it got to be something else. But 1 through 73, counts 1 through 73 should be dismissed. Because of his interpretation of the law, 1 through 73.
All right, what's the response from the state, if any?
Thank you, Your Honor. As Trooper Schultz testified during his examination, consistent with our research, there are no active
the bail
recalls listed
jumping
for the Ford Escape. As
That's
Trooper Inspector Schultz noted during his testimony, that Ford listed an extended warranty for the throttle body on the Escape. The warranty was extended to 10 years of age and 150,000 miles. The Escape is more than 10 years old and has more than 150,000 miles. Also, he noted specifically in his report that he did not note any defect in the throttle body as previously described in this report.
Hello.
There was no recall in the throttle body.
Yeah.
Did do an investigation into allegedly defective Ford throttle bodies.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Impacted this year.
Hello.
Basically, the electronic throttle body failures would have resulted in engine stall or surge while entering traffic from a stop position or while driving at highway speeds, neither of which I believe occurred here.
You were not in a stop position because you was running over folks, so you weren't stopped.
Further, Inspector Schultz would testify that that does not prevent the brake from working. So if this had been activated on this car, which it was not, but if it had been, and this defendant would have pushed down on the brake, it would have stopped the car. Further, if this was a problem, there would have been the malfunction indicator lamp or the wrench light would have been illuminated, as Trooper Schultz, Inspector Schultz testified,
having a moment
when he started the vehicle and checked the indicator lights. None of them were lit. Further, if there was this, he would have observed material buildup on the commutator
making all that noise?
There was no such buildup observed. There were no problems with the throttle, electronic throttle body. That was part of his report. Therefore, this is.
He definitely hates Darrell.
There may have been some cars who had this problem. The car that the defendant was driving on this day did not have that problem. That was testified during the vehicle inspection.
Never a dull moment with
I
Paisley.
had the opportunity to cross-examine Inspector Schultz with regard to that. And again, in running the defendant's mom's VIN number through NHTSA, National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. There are, for this particular VIN number, for this car that the defendant was driving, 0 unrepaired recalls. So
Crazy
it's a
dog.
mood issue.
I don't believe it's a new issue.
Come on.
And I actually have,
Come on.
the report should be in the mailroom as we speak. I had everything
Paisley's a boy.
sent over priority mail, the actual information about the class action lawsuit, the actual information about.
Paisley's a boy. I named him after Prince, because you know his house was Paisley Park. So that's Paisley.
The recalls for those models, like I said, 2008 through 2010. Now, in all
Hey,
fairness,
stuff.
Your Honor,
Where you
that's
been?
why I was asking for a Brady claim on this.
Choking on them lies, sir.
Seeing as how when vehicles are purchased from the manufacturer,
Okay.
they're
Girl,
still sold as is.
Kristen, I miss Prince so much. A lot of people say that Paisley's a girl. So, I mean, I understand that it could be construed as being feminine, but yeah, it's Prince. Because, you know, I have a little Prince shrine over here. I love me some, I got so much Prince stuff. I love me some Prince. Stuff 29, and if you don't get on stuff with that mess,
There would be no way to know that
you're only old when you
there's
die.
anything malfunctioning with the vehicle until it actually happens.
Oh, hold on.
From the manufacturer.
Let's get this logic again.
Seeing as how when vehicles are purchased from the manufacturer,
Okay.
they're still sold as is. There would be no way to know that there's anything malfunctioning with the vehicle until it actually happens.
Oh,
And
hey.
seeing this a class action lawsuit, no one would sue the Ford company if there weren't malfunctioning vehicles. There would be no class action lawsuit if these vehicles were not malfunctioning. And I believe with that, like I said, the information is easily obtainable. I should have the information in the mailroom right now that you can readily view this information about the class action lawsuit, about the recall. It wasn't just the 2010 model in question. It was 2008 through 2010.
Let me go back. I got to hear this again.
If these vehicles were
Paisley, I'm not going to play with you right now.
No one would sue the Ford company.
Okay, let me go back.
Brady claim on this. Seeing as how when vehicles are purchased from the manufacturer, they're still sold as is.
It's sold as is.
There would be no way to know.
No way to know
that there's anything malfunctioning with the vehicle until it actually happens. And seeing this a class action lawsuit, no one would sue the Ford company if there weren't malfunctioning vehicles. There would be no class action lawsuit if these vehicles were not malfunctioning.
Okay.
And I believe with that, like I said, the information is easily obtainable. I should have the information in the mailroom right now, that you can readily view this information.
It's readily
about the class
obtained.
action lawsuit about the recall on. It wasn't just the 2010 model in question. It was 2008 through 2010.
That makes a difference. Move, Munchkin.
The information about the malfunctioning pertains strictly to the throttle body.
Let me address your claim, sir.
Judge Darrell was like, I haven't heard enough of this bullshit. Let me shut this down now.
So, not trying to cut you off. I don't need the specifics about a class action, because as it relates to this case, the fact that there's a class action would not mean there's a Brady violation by the state. In fact, you even indicate it was readily known and something you were able to find out. I'd further note that you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine the inspector regarding his mechanical inspection.
That's where the preparation part would have come into play. You know, where you would have you would read over everything, have a preset of questions ready, and then you could ask these questions. Paisley.
It's not new information. And more importantly, as it relates to this particular vehicle, based upon the testimony of Inspector Schultz, it's speculative as to whether this vehicle would be impacted, number one, by the class action, and number two, any throttle body problems. Because again, there was a full inspection. That report was provided to you. He testified on direct examination about there being no active recalls. And more importantly, he testified about what impact the throttle body would have and what he would expect to see if there were any issues with it. I am aware that the ICF, I did receive an email. It's one page with what you said. I have to turn my head. I got to figure out how to flip it. So give me a second.
I think that he really, not that he had a chance. He thought he had a shot with this.
So I'm going to turn, because it's the only way I can read. It says, your ICF says the state's expert witness who did the inspection on the vehicle in this incident needs to be recalled no later than Wednesday. I just learned of some information that is extremely vital.
Y'all, it's extremely vital. It was extremely vital.
So I understand the information that you're providing me, but again, you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine this witness. This information was apparently well known. I'd also note the vehicle's registered to your mother. And from my understanding of recalls, I think what is common knowledge is that a registered owner would receive information regarding the recalls and what to do. And presumably she would have provided that information to anyone operating that vehicle or taking care of it. We have none of that information before us by way of.
I used to drive a Chevy Cobalt. Every other month, I got a recall card for me to take my car up. There was something that was wrong with the ignition switch or something. And they had to fix it like 1,000 times.
Fact or even an offer of proof that even she received that information and did nothing with it, or whether anyone else who operated that did anything with it or not. The bottom line is there is absolutely no Brady violation by the state. This is not the type of information they would have been required to turn over. And from my understanding and review of Exhibit 83, what's important to this case is that the mechanical inspection specifically looked at that issue.
Oh, I drive a Lexus now, so I don't have to worry about that.
This particular vehicle, there were
screw Chevy
issues with that would have impacted the mechanical function during the incident in question. I'll accept the state's offer of proof as to what would have been the issues based upon the information provided. And again, without anything further from you by way of your offer of proof, I can't make a finding, number one, that there's a Brady violation, and number two, that the information you seek to cross-examine him on would have any impact whatsoever. So I'll
remember, he says cross-examine. Oh, thank you, Ashley Lynn. Thank you. Thank you. Remember, cross-examine for him is pronounced cross-examinate.
deny the request to dismiss the case, and I'll deny the request to recall this witness.
Oh,
Your
Hold
Your
on.
Honor.
Your Honor, he trying.
Let me have the state just make their statement. I'll give you the last word on it. Go ahead.
The Inspector Schultz's mechanical inspection report was provided to the defense on April 29th, 2022. I noted that when the defendant was cross-examining Inspector Schultz, he did have the report in front of him and was asking questions directly related to information contained in that report.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
When you spoke to the owner of the vehicle, that's who gave me the information. My mother gave me the information of this. I had no knowledge until she
Of course
told me.
not.
And that's how I came into the information. And she was the one that said, I'm going to send you all the information that you need.
So your mother knew about this situation, this tragedy where you killed all these people. And she knew that there was an active recall on some mechanical failure on the vehicle. So instead of her giving it to you early, she waited to the last day. If it doesn't make sense, it's not true.
So you can present it to the court. So
I understand that, sir, but your request is not timely. So you have had this information for quite some time, either through counsel.
I did not have it for quite some time.
Let me make my record. Either through counsel.
It was just told to me.
That's not what I'm saying. You've had the information about this report for quite some time, either through prior counsel or through all of the discovery that was turned over to you when you took over your representation of your own case. The fact that you have now learned this, it's a little bit too late. And I understand that may seem fair to you, but when I consider the information that you're providing to me, it's speculative on your part as to whether there's any impact on this particular vehicle because of the inspection that was done. Mm-hmm. And you had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine the inspector about information that was readily obtainable and researchable by you prior to the time that
because you said it was easy to find
this witness.
Hey, Annie.
It's not really readily available for me to expect at the time. I don't have access to the internet.
Really? You don't have access to the internet? There's so many people in prison that seem to have cell phones and they have access to the internet. I'm sure if I were to send you a letter and be like, oh, Darrell, I saw your child, I think that I like you. I can email you. You have access to the internet, fool.
So how would I be able to?
Mr. Brooks, you're telling me your mother had that information.
No,
so,
I'm telling you, she just told me this information. I have the phone calls to prove it.
I understand that. I'm denying the request, sir.
And I would like a.
So that's my decision.
I object to that.
Come on.
I understand. I've made my decision. I expect that you respect the decision, at least as we're not going to debate it further.
Yes.
Yes.
I now have the
look.
I understand.
I have the phone calls to prove it.
I understand that. I'm denying the request, sir.
And I would like a.
So that's my decision.
I object to that, Your Honor.
I understand. I've made my decision. I expect that you respect the decision, at least as we're not going to debate it further.
Yes.
I now have the ICF,
the
one for the state to be provided for the state.
Your Honor.
Madam Clerk,
addressed
to you.
Your Honor.
All right, so
I
Mr.
respectfully object, Your Honor, and request the legal reconsideration of your ruling, Your Honor.
There we
it's
go.
denied. The request for reconsideration is denied. There's
Typewriter.
no legal basis for me to do
I
that.
respectfully
Typewriter
reject that ruling and take exception
For
to
that
that
ruling.
ruling, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Brooks, we need to keep going.
For the record, may I request a legal or factual basis for your ruling, Your Honor?
I provided an oral ruling today. The record stands, sir.
For the record, may I respectfully request a written judicial finding of facts and conclusion of law on this issue?
Your request is denied.
For the record, may I respectfully move for an interlocutory declaratory appeal of this matter?
I wouldn't be the one you would make that request to.
Going down the list of bullshit. Just going down the list. We hitting number 1, 2, 3, 4. Going down the list of bullshit. Sovereign citizen shit.
Sir, so I can't
For the record, may I
answer that
move
yes
to
or
stay
no.
these proceedings until the instant matter is adjudicated by a court of competent jurisdiction?
Conviction.
That request is denied.
Based on what law or fact, Your Honor?
The request is denied.
Based on what law or fact, Your Honor?
Any other requests, sir, I'd like to move on.
Based on what law?
There's no
Or
legal
fact.
basis that you've stated for me to do that, sir.
It has been, Your Honor.
The request is denied. The request is not a proper motion. There's no legal support for the motion. There's no factual support for the motion. So it's denied.
For the record, it appears that this court is acting in contempt of the law, Your Honor. Can you show me how or where this court is following the law of respecting this matter?
That's a very vague statement, sir. There's no legal relief that you're claiming. There's no motion before the court based in law or fact. So this court cannot address that last statement of yours.
Oh.
Your Honor, with all due respect,
And here comes some disrespect.
I would like a motion for finding a fact.
Denied.
Oh.
Under what law and fact?
I made an oral ruling, sir. There's no requirement I do so in writing.
Oh.
So you're denying a legal, you're denying a motion for finding a fact.
Yeah.
So how do I know what you're doing is legal, Your Honor?
You know how you would know what she's doing is legal? You pick up that Wisconsin code and freaking read it. I know it's going to be difficult, you know, and your neck's going to get sore from going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's what you need to do is read that.
All right, Mr. Brooks, we're going to move forward.
This ain't hard.
At this time, I want to.
How do I know that this is legal, Your Honor? Can you show me that it's legal?
Mr. Brooks, we're moving forward. So your
Doesn't
request
seem
is
like
denied.
it doesn't seem
Mr.
like
Brooks,
you're-
I need to give you some
It
advisements,
doesn't
and I'd
seem like
ask that you
I
stop
don't need
interrupting
your
me.
advice.
Uh-oh.
No, I
I
have to
need
give you
you-
advisements, sir, regarding
I
your
need
right
you
to testify.
I need to do your job.
Well, she is doing her job. She is going to listen to you act the fool on the record, and she's going to show that she did everything that she could. She bent over backwards to protect your dumb ass and make sure that you have no grounds for appeal, no grounds for mistrial, and got you convicted of 1,300 years. So she did her job, and she did it well.
Without prejudice and without
Mr.
bias.
Brooks has
Your
now
Honor.
interrupted me multiple times. He's failing to respect the court's oral rulings here today. It's something that he's done repeatedly throughout this trial. Mr. Brooks, I need to go through some advisements. Unless you have a witness to immediately call, I need to go through this particular discussion on the record with you regarding your right to testify.
You don't need
Do you
to
have
go
a
through-
witness
you
to
don't
call,
need to go
sir?
through anything with me on record. You need
Actually,
to-
I do so,
Actually,
sir.
you
That is
don't.
required by
Actually,
law.
you don't. You need to do your job as a public servant.
Mr. Brooks,
she's
Honor
doing
the
it.
oath that you
I
took,
need to
Your
go
Honor.
through these
The oath.
advisements, and if you're going to keep interrupting me, you will forfeit your right to be present, and you
So
will
you're
be
holding me in
removed
contempt
to
again.
the next courtroom so that I can properly go through these advisements
I
without being
still-
interrupted.
And I still don't have to answer. I still don't have to answer whether I'm in this court or not. So you're holding me in contempt yet again.
Mr. Brooks, I've not held you in contempt. I've
Not now
found that
time.
you have forfeited your right to be present by your conduct, which is one of the options available to this court under Illinois versus
Allen.
under State versus Vaughn. It's also referenced in State versus Anthony. So I am going to keep going, sir, despite your
Thank you,
protestations.
Kristen.
With
I
all
need
due
you
respect,
to
in Illinois
not
versus
interrupt
Allen,
me. This is another interruption.
In Illinois versus Allen.
I'm
they
not
say-
going to have a debate with you on
I'm
the
not
meaning
trying to
of
have a
Illinois
debate.
versus
I'm not
Allen.
trying to have a debate.
You
I'm
are
really
advised
trying
that
to
a
understand
continued,
Illinois versus Allen.
Mr. Brooks, you are advised that continued interruptions will result in you forfeiting your right to be present during this next phase of the trial.
Okay, but you
But-
saying that I'm
I've said
forfeiting
that
my
multiple
right.
times.
You
I've
saying-
given you multiple
You're
opportunities to
holding
stop
me in
interrupting
contempt.
me.
You're holding me in contempt
Mr. Brooks,
by
I'm not holding
removing
you
me
in
from the
contempt
courtroom.
for the second time here, and I've
Your
also
Honor.
repeated that.
Your Honor,
He's
with all-
interrupting me yet again.
with all
Mr. Brooks, I
respect-
need you to
With
stop
all
talking.
respect.
With all respect, in Illinois versus Allen.
All right, Mr. Brooks continues to want to debate with me the meaning of Illinois versus Allen. It is a clear indication to this
I'm
court
trying to
that
understand,
he
Your Honor.
wants to disrupt these proceedings, even
That's
in
not
a
true.
mild manner tone
That's
of
not
voice.
true.
I've
I'm
reminded
seeking
him
to
repeatedly
understand, Your
regarding
Honor,
the standards
because
of
it
form and
doesn't-
civility, and one of the
Illinois doesn't
bedrocks is that he
Illinois versus
non-interrupt.
Allen does not state
All right, I'm going to
that-
remove him to the next courtroom so that I can go through
It does
proper
not state-
advisements with him without being
it
interrupted.
does not
We'll clear the
state
courtroom
that
and
you
we'll
can be
resume
present from
once he
cameras.
is over there. Again, I'll
It
make
doesn't
the
state that
appropriate
you can be
findings when
present
he is
from
there.
cameras, or that you could be.
Yes, we're off the record.
Boy,
that
he
you
was
could be
desperate.
Okay, so you're making a tacit agreement.
A tacit agreement. He was desperate on that one. Desperate. Now, before I go, I have a question on something new for me to cover. I have been going down the rabbit hole to Flint City Council. Hey, Shannon. Flint City Council. It's a lot of arguing and carrying on. So I'm going to show you a snippet of it, and I want to see if you guys would be interested in seeing any of it, because it's some foolishness. So hold on, let me get it so y'all can see it. Because I know some of us are we're desperately missing Darrell, and so I think this would be a good thing to watch. So give me y'all opinion on if you want to see this. Hold on, turn that music off.
1710 West Home to Legislative Committee for one meeting and then back to Special Affairs or Council.
There's a motion on the.
That resolution's got,
That was to Finance Committee.
Right, he's doing it to
Now that's Eric Mays. This is the Hellraiser.
another committee to legislate. Right?
Point of order, Mr. President. If they don't want us in the real
Right.
estate business, keep it to
Wait,
yourself
there's a
until we can
motion
go
on
home.
the floor to
And don't
postpone
be
this to
talking on
legislate.
the video.
Mr. Mays,
Hold up,
Mr.
point
Mays,
of order.
what is your point of
I
order?
don't want that video tainted with these editorials. Mr. Del Maroney,
No,
Mr.
that water's
Woodson,
not clean yet.
if we can't keep them, that big money videos that we pay for untainted, I want them chairs removed when we record. So I'm gonna
Thank
ask
you.
that people
That's
indulge
valid.
us. It's a fair request.
Yep.
We ain't
So,
trying to taint the public.
okay, Mr. Mays, so there's a motion on the floor to
But I move that we change the order, allow the public to speak, and I know it can be done, and I ask for support. If it dies, then we'll move on. But I ask for support from a colleague to let the public chime in on our organization. Now, if we die for a lack of second, you're not chairing this meeting. It's proper procedure. And if Madam Chair says you chime in, you chime in. But I've got a motion on the floor. I move that we allow the public to speak, rearrange the order of agenda, and then proceed with our organizational meeting, because I know there's some people who want to chime in on who's fixing to be this leadership, and I know deals has been cut.
We'll have a conversation.
and we will be dealing with blight, not only city blight, but land banks blight as well.
Look at his face.
Frustrated. We didn't get there overnight, but correction is coming shortly, and I yield the floor. Thank you.
I edited.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I don't want to talk with you, Chair, and I'm gonna wait for her.
Let me see if I can find that video. Because I think it may be gone. That's 2:15.
Anybody try to call
Oh, that ain't it.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was waiting on you. I don't operate under illegal, wrong, ignorant acting, trying to get the black man arrested, 7th Ward Councilperson Galloway. And I'm going to have everybody in the city know it.
I also want to say to Eric, to God be the glory.
Amen.
Eric and my son, Dr. Gary Powell Nash, were colleagues at Michigan State. And Dr. Gary Powell Nash is a professor of music at this university.
Vote them up, vote them down, vote change in, vote change down. You don't want grants? Remove them. If you want grants, put it back.
Point of information.
What's your point?
When you say you and Miss Lewis submitted them to Allie, are you saying 3 or more y'all discussed it outside of an open meeting?
Now, this is the current council right now. So it is the racial makeup is it's predominantly black, and there is 3 white people, I think. And this is Priestley. And there's 9 people on the council, but 6 people, all the white people and 3 black people, all vote together, and they do a whole bunch of illegal stuff because they're new and they want to invent different rules and stuff. And they fight all the time.
That's not what she said. Please continue, Ms. Priestley.
Point of order. That wasn't to you to clarify, Madam Chair. That was to the speaker. A point of information ain't to you. It's to the speaker. So my point of order is, can you keep your nose out of other folk business?
Mr. Mays, that is your warning.
I appeal the warning.
There has been an appeal.
Now, I hate this water buffalo here. I hate her.
To the chair. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I second that.
All right, it has been appealed and properly. When I heard the false statement that went out pertaining to me, Ms. Priestley and Ms. Herkenroder, after Ms. Priestley didn't respond, after she wasn't going to respond, I did. So was the chair wrong in that case? I can't tell you, but
and this water buffalo has taken bribes as well.
What I do know is this. I know that we have to stop saying fictitious things, and you are hoping that the colleagues don't say anything to rebuttal it. Because if I didn't say that wasn't true, it would have went forth as being taken as the truth. And I'm not having illegal meetings. So as the chair, as a human.
Look, I'm gonna have to go into my old video because I know I posted the link and it's on another video, another live stream. I don't know which one it was, but it's one of my earlier ones, and I have to find it so I can find it and post it because it's not where it was before. I've been looking for it, and I got to go through my videos to find it.
As someone that's on that committee, when I hear that, although it was addressed to Ms. Priestley, when I saw Ms. Priestley didn't say anything, I said that was not true. So yes, I did do that. However, you were giving a warning for your disrespectful statement. If I was wrong, that's something else. Definitely, I will correct myself. But in terms of your disrespectful statement, that's why you received the warning.
Point of information. So when folk make disrespectful statements toward me, you gonna warn them from here on out? I'll take the warning if you apply it equally. When folk talk about me.
She won't.
You willing to make that deal?
Mr. Mays, in this case, you were twisting what Ms. Priestley said because you were trying to continuously paint me especially as being untrustworthy and as not being worthy of this chair because you have a personal vendetta against me and Dr. Lewis.
What's your point?
You keep saying you especially. You are already biased toward me, correct?
Are you not biased toward me as well?
This is so much, and they have like committee meetings where it lasts like 10 hours because all they do is argue. But I just want to see if this is entertaining to you. Because if it's not entertaining, then I won't do it.
Hold on. Let's go to your point of information. Mr. Mays, you are using the floor, the points of, privileged motions to take the floor. Let's not do that.
We are in an appeal for, I don't know how many times we've had an appeal on this similar issue. It is always up to the chair to say proceed or denied. Whether or not we like whoever the chair is does not matter. We have had this conversation day in and day out. Dr. Lewis was in the right for not allowing you to proceed with that point of information.
And so this is Allie Herkenroder, and her and Dr. Lewis are friends, and whatever one of these Muppets say or do, they'll say, well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna agree with the chair. It don't matter what it is.
And you got upset about that. So you said rude comments to her.
Thank you, Daniel.
I will be supporting the chair.
That it is to the speaker. You did respond. And you didn't even give a chance to allow Ms. Priestley to respond. And that was done. So that was my reasoning for supporting that, because it was to the speaker. You were not the speaker. And I've seen prior where you have intervened and commented. You did it through your mask and talked. And
I'm not on here.
That's what you've done.
Because I wanted to fight with anyone.
Oh God, this is Eva Worthing. She is the biggest Karen that you will ever meet or see. She's the biggest Karen.
I'm on here to do the business of the city, but I'm also on here not to be slandered, called names, and generally bullied and harassed. No one wants to do that while they're on here. We just want to get our work done. This is, again, abnormal.
This is the problem. We're not here to go back and forth. We're not here to tell someone off. You don't tell the chair, keep your nose out of people's business. There's no one, I'm not your child. No one here is Mr. Mays' child. So we demand respect. No one's talking about you, Mr. Mays, telling you where to keep your nose, nothing. And if you feel that way, it's a certain way that you need to say that. We don't need to be held hostage by your language, by your insults, by your frivolous points of information and frivolous points of order, because this is what keeps us here. And so I'm not surprised that it was seconded, but you will be respectful. Telling me where to put my nose, that's not your place. Not using decorum, that's not your place. And if you feel that you want to not use decorum in this special affairs meeting, then you definitely need to leave, because this is not a place for you. Whether you like me, agree with the good doctor, whatever you want to call me.
Y'all see this?
It's not your place. What's your place is to handle the business of the First Ward and maintain respect to all colleagues. No one's attacking you, don't attack them. We're here to attack the issue. So either you're going to use decorum or you're going to use the door.
Smart mouth.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Here we go.
Mays?
Now let me respond to you. I'm damn near 10 years on this council. I'm grown, full-grown council person. A point of information is to the speaker. It wasn't to you. and you stuck your nose in that business to answer a point of information. A point of information is a high privilege motion. It's to clarify. And I want to clarify whether you, Ms. Priestley, and Ms. Herkenroder was illegally communicating outside of an open meeting. And you stuck your nose in it as a figure of speech. And here you want to try to get this councilman told, I've seen this movie before. Now, Ms. Burns and Ms. Herkenroder and them was talking, you checked them and said, whether you listen or not. Then I'm looking at you talking to Davina, Attorney Kim. See, I done sat up in the seat before. That's called hypocritism. You want folks to listen when you talk, but you mad because they talking to each other. And then you talked about egos and people versus council rules. Then you're going to say be germane, and you all up on Tito and Jackson and Marlon. So you hypocrite.
So what that is, people will tell him, Mr. Mays, you're not being germane. And so he'll say, I'll be germane, Jackie, Marlon, Michael, Tito. So that's where that comes from.
And now you want to sit and get me told, because I called the privileged point of information legitimate to Miss Priestley to clarify whether 3 or more was dealing outside of a meeting. And you cut it off. Sitting up here, if they got conscience and honesty in their minds and heart, you were wrong. The chair was wrong. And you shouldn't be issuing me a warning when the point of information wasn't to you. It was to her. You should have kept your nose stuck out of it. And so I stick with it. I did a point of information to her. You put your nose in it and answered the question for her. She ain't answered yet. She don't have to. But it ain't for you to answer. And then rule me out of order because I checked you. Keep your nose.
And see, and they want to always give him 2 warnings so they can kick him out the meeting. Now they haven't mentioned the Latoya and
Those
Janet.
are the privileged motions that don't apply to you. You in the infant stages of sitting in that chair. I ain't buying it. Now you can try to get the public to buy it, but I know the rules. You learning the rules. Remember this, a point of information is to the speaker, not to the chair.
So with that being said, roll call, Madam Clerk.
I hate that water buffalo.
Excuse me, Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
He is.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
Now these are 3 here that's in the clique. Water Buffalo's in the clique, and that's Herkenroder is in the clique, and this is a Pfeiffer in the clique. The ones that usually loses all the votes is these 2 ladies here and Eric May. So it's always 6-3 or 5-3, and then this fool here will abstain. But it's a whole clique.
Point of order. We're in a roll call vote. Debate and discussion is over. I can assure you, when you're in a roll call, you call the roll. They have to vote yes, no, or abstain. They can't get into discussion.
Oh God,
on the
Murphy. Yes.
Now, I don't care what Attorney Kim say.
Mr. Mays,
rule on my point of order.
All right, thank you. So just for clarity, a yes vote will sustain.
Point of order. Man, look, let me be excused. This is a kangaroo proceeding.
You're excused. Thank you.
But now, this is ridiculous. The whole time she don't know what we're talking about. Discussion over. Right.
Yes. Ms. Winfrey Carter.
No.
Ms. Burns.
No.
Ms. Herkenroder.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Ms. Worthing.
Yes.
Vote is 6 yes, 2 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 2 no. The ruling of the chair sustained.
Because once you get out of her meeting, it's different. Talking condescending and belittling people, trying to talk proper. I talk this and that. The same on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Here go a councilwoman, don't know the rules, trying to learn them, come in here out of San Diego, can't tell you who Reverend Pryor is, Pointer, or nobody, can't even tell you what St. John looked like, in my opinion, and gonna try to talk about me and my family and throw me out of a meeting and laughing now. I want everybody to know who Miss Galloway is. Miss Galloway is trying to build her name up off of me, competing with me. Somebody in the ward told me, she told him, I took Councilman May's finance chair. Yeah, she did it. I know him. I work with him in the plant. The street got ears. Build your name off of you. No, you got finance chair, and it's the one to remove me as chair. How do you get arrested before they vote to remove you as chair? How is you a chair and you call a meeting to order and they say you out of order the minute that they had the police remove you, the white police, the same white police who now is gone. And then they vote 6-1 to remove you from chair after the fact. Now, how ridiculous is that with this crowd? And she, look at her. She ready to get into it now. Don't come to council meeting zeroing in on me because I'm suing you. It's retaliation.
Oh yeah, he can sue the city.
It's retaliation.
Point of order,
It's
Mr.
illegal.
President.
What's your point?
Is his time up?
It is, but go ahead and wrap up, Council.
Thank you, Mr. President, because just like Papa Jared, she mad at you because you saying sum up. Do you know how many times Miss Galloway done talked and talked, but now we talking about the facts. Mr. President, is his time up? Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to the great residents of the city of Flint. I support Mayor Weaver. I ain't on Neely's show with her. I ain't on Neely's show with
Point of order, Mr. President.
We almost done.
Are we just gonna go on and he's gonna just abuse the time?
He sounds like he's sounding up.
Oh, really?
We wrapping up, Miss Galloway. Point of order, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Man, you need to
Point of
be
order,
cool.
Mr. President.
Here we
Does
go.
he
We'd
get
have
to
been
mock him?
done now. Yeah, I'm mocking you.
Thank you, Councilman.
You called the police on me. Yeah, I'm mocking you. Point of order, Mr. President. We'd have been done. Thank you, Mr. President, with her point of I'm going to show her who's who. Mr. President, she mad now because I done quit talking.
Now it's my turn. May I make my remarks to all of the residents who came out today?
You know what surprises me about this council? I thought that Eva Worthing never would want to sit by me. You'd have thought she was scared of me like the big bad wolf. And here she over here because she don't like them two nice ladies.
Point of information.
What's your point?
I've never been scared of you, Mr. Mays.
Well, that's good to know because under Kate Fields and them and others, you was trying to convince people that I was something that I knew I wasn't. I knew you wasn't scared. I knew you was perpetrating, and that's what I think you're doing. That's why I made that point. It's relevant, Ms. Lewis. Quit perpetrating like you know the rules and I'm out of order. You were totally out of order. My point of information wasn't to you. Just a few.
We don't have any action items. Yeah. It was a good meeting.
Yep.
A really good meeting.
I need thee, oh, I need thee.
I need thee. All right, that's it. That's it. I'm gonna play that. Okay, that's it. So, what do you guys think? Is that something that y'all would be interested in seeing? He makes fun of a select few. He makes fun of a select few. The water buffalo, Councilman Murphy. Councilman Murphy is very flamboyant. If anybody speaks Spanish and they know the word for sweet is dulce, he's very dulce. He's very dulce. So, like I said, he has so many. There's so many videos, and you know they range from like 10. They can go for 8-10 hours, and it's just fighting back and forth. Of course, I wouldn't do a 10-hour stream, but it'd be something different to have as a, for extra commentary. Yeah, I would definitely give you a breakdown of the players. Now, I'm kind of new to it too, so I just started watching this new council. So, but I'll give you a breakdown of all the players and do my best to explain. Councilman Mays has gone viral. He's on TikTok. He's on Instagram. So all you got to do is just search for Eric Mays, and you'll see a whole bunch of videos about him where he is cursing out people, going off on people, mocking them. It's freaking hilarious. So, I might do, I don't know if I'll do a live or I'll do a upload like I did with Master Bitch Theater. So, like I said, I just wanted to see if this was something that y'all would be interested in watching, because I know council meetings can be sort of look on TikTok. Yes. And I'm telling you, Annie, when you see it, you're going to be like, these folks is crazy. You're going to be laughing. Well, anyway, guys, it is time for me to put it down and take my little booty to sleep. And then I'm trying to wash Paisley's face if he lets me. I appreciate everybody for coming through tonight and hanging out with me. The water issues they still have water issues. They have a lot of blight. It's just a mess. And the council meeting is a shit show. It's a complete shit show, and I love it. Anyway, thank all of you guys for coming tonight and hanging out with me. I plan on going live or doing another Master Bitch Theater very soon. And so I really appreciate all of you guys. If you have anything that you'd like me to cover, make sure you put it in the comments. And of course, always respond back to me, because, I try to respond back to you. And again, any of my trolls, if you brought your stink ass back in here, please don't try it, because I'm going to block you, okay? Don't play with me. Anyway, what am I doing? Okay. Y'all have a good night. And as we always say, drums please.
Drums please.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a great time tonight. We have truly enjoyed ourselves, and we would like to thank you for being a part of the show and coming to visit this platform. Live on YouTube, Auntie Miracle